He is also our panel speaker today. He will be going to deliberate on new XBRL forms and all. I welcome all the delegates, and I welcome both the panel speakers from Reserve Bank of India, and I also welcome our own CA Mohit Ji Bhuteria. I hand over the proceedings to our convener, CA Vivek Agarwal. Over to CA Vivek Agarwal.
Thank you, President Anup Kumar Sanghai from ACA Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives. Friends, before we start the proceeding, I would request all to stand up for our ICI motto.
Yaesha supteshu jagrati Yaesha supteshu jagrati Kamam 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 Purusho nirmimanaha Tadeva shukram Tada Brahma Tadeva Amritamucchate Tasmin Lokaha Shataha Sarve Tadunatyati Kaschan
Thank you, friends. Friends, we have with us 3 speakers for the evening. Abhijit Majumdar ji from RBI. We have Sanatan Kachhap ji from RBI and our very own CA Mohit Bhuteria ji. They will be taking a very interesting topic for the evening, NBFC. Non-banking financial companies are a backbone along with the banks, and it's very critical to understand the intricacies, to understand the intricacies of the audits, of the filing requirements of non-banking financial companies. And it's very bank audits are areas which are spoken in professional world in detail during bank audit, but somehow we as a professionals, or I would say as a consultants, many of us who are doing NBFC work, they only know the intricacies, but others get it neglected because we don't have the assignments or we are not working day in, day out with NBFC. But lately, the requirements of NBFC have strengthened with coming of Ind AS, various XBRL filings, and various requirements from the auditors, and to follow all the RBI guidelines in regard to NBFC. So it becomes very challenging. That's why your study circle, ACA study circle, has planned this evening along with Mohit Bhuteria ji, who is also the chairman of the Corporate Allied Laws Committee of ACAE, to have this 3 CPR session on NBFC. Without further delay, I would request our co-convener, Mr. P.D. Rungta ji, to please welcome and formally introduce the speakers of the evening. P.D. sir.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, you are audible.
Good afternoon to all of you, and I welcome on the ACA platform to respected dignitaries. We have with us Mr. Sanatan S. Kachhap, who is a BSc IAIB. Hello.
Continue.
Who is BSc IAIB, CAIIB, who is Assistant General Manager of Reserve Bank of India, Kolkata, and he is responsible to supervision of NBFCs, including off-site monitoring of returns and their analysis, Cosmos return and XBRL returns, rollout of XBRL in Kolkata basis NBFCs. Previously, he has worked with Bank of Baroda and NABARD. Welcome, sir, at the ACI platform. And we have with us Abhijit Majumdar, who is MSc Physics and CIIB. He is the General Manager, Department of Supervision, Reserve Bank of India, Kolkata. He has worked in various departments and centers of RBI for the last 25 years. He also had worked with the Vijaya Bank for around 2 years. Welcome to you, sir, as well. And we have a third speaker, our very own Mohit Bhutodia ji. We welcome him. Mohit ji. Mohit ji is a
Pramod, you are not audible.
FCA professional registered valuer for securities of he has contributed articles in various journals issued by study circles under ICI and one of the key contributors in of audit committee issued by ICI in 2018 and guidance note on CARO in 2016. We welcome you, Mohiji. Welcome to all of you for the deliberation. Platform is yours, sir.
Thank you, Pramod ji. I would now request hand over the proceeding to Chairman Corporate Allied Laws Committee Mohit Bhutodia ji to take over the proceedings from here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vivek. President Anup ji, Convener Vivek, Co-Convener PD Runta ji, my co-speakers Mr. Majumdar, GM DNBS RBI, Mr. Sanatan Kachap, AGM DNBS RBI. Friends, very good evening to all of you. So at the outset, I welcome you all on behalf of ACA at this free CPE hour seminar on the recent developments in NBFC, the new scheme of filing of XBRL returns for NBFC, the new scheme of registration of auditors for issuing or uploading certificates for NBFC. Now, the first part, the developments will be taken up by Mr. Majumdar, and the scheme of filing of returns and the registration of auditors will be taken up by Mr. Kachap. So not coming in between the speakers, just as an opening remarks, I like to highlight that today the Reserve Bank of India, the Governor RBI issued the monetary policy, and there are four key important things concerning NBFCs. Number one, if we all recall, there was a Usha Thorat committee which was set up for regulating, issuing a revised guidelines on NBFCs, but that committee report was not taken through by Reserve Bank. Now RBI has again thought of reviewing the prudential norm guidelines, the regulatory framework applicable to the NBFCs linked to the systemic risk contribution of the NBFCs on a way forward. A consultative discussion paper would be hosted on the NBFC website by 15th January 2021. The second key feature is that, like presently, unlike banks' dividend, there is no dividend distribution policy guidelines issued by RBI for NBFCs. Now, RBI is going to formulate guidelines on dividend distribution for NBFCs, keeping in view the increasing significance of the NBFCs in the financial system and their interlinkages with the different segments of the economy. Another key point is that RBI is now coming out with a process for risk-based internal audit for certain categories of NBFCs. And the last and the foremost important is that we know that presently statutory auditors of banks, a panel for statutory auditors of banks is given by the RBI to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and from which appointments are made by the bank, given to the institute as well as to the bank, and appointment is made by the bank. Similar to maintaining of panel for statutory auditors for like banks, there is going to be a panel for appointment of audit firms also to be issued by RBI. So these are the four important things which was from the RBI governance statement today. So now, without taking any much more time, now I hand over the proceedings to Abhijit sir with the request to start his deliberations.
Thank you, Mr. Bhutoria. And first, I just have a request how to share my screen in case of my PowerPoint presentation. Share screen.
Yeah, sir, you are the co-host. So if you see, there is a tab called Share Screen below your laptop. There is an option called Share Screen.
There I am seeing that one participant can share at a time. I have to
Yeah.
choose that one.
No, you are doing a right click over there. Just click over there. Instead of right click, just give a click. When you give a click, there's option for screen.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
click on that screen and then your screen is now visible to us now. You can just do presentation mode and start. Yeah, perfect, sir.
Okay. Okay. So it's my privilege to be with you today, and I have been entrusted to give a presentation on the supervision of NBFCs, issues, challenges, and forwards. Mr. Bhutoria has already, in a nutshell, has already spoken about the 4 measures for NBFC sector. So what our governor has enunciated today in the monetary policy meeting. And uh, I understand that today's meeting, all of you are from the Chartered Accountant fraternity of West Bengal, as well as, to be specific, from Kolkata itself. And you are playing a big role for the NBFC sector's supervision, as well as you are helping the NBFC sector to a great extent in terms of supervision and regulations. And there are certain um, developments in the Reserve Bank of India Act, under which, as per the new amendments, Government of India has empowered RBI in certain supervisory angle, certain empowerment for RBI has taken place. So those things we'll discuss. So this is my first slide. All of you can see my presentation. First slide.
sir.
Perfect,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your slide is visible.
Okay. So this is the overview of this sector, the NBFC sector. The combined balance sheet size of the NBFC and housing finance company is at around 40 to 45 lakh crores, which is equivalent to 23% of the banking sector assets. And NBFC, as you all aware, that this sector provides a complementarity to the banks, and it some cases it also competes with the banks, because it caters to the niche sector of the financial sector, where banks are not able to reach. There the NBFC sectors are reaching out, and they have a select customer base. NBFC has also ventured into fintech space, because this Paytm is a payment bank, but uh, the non-operative financial holding company, which is holding the Paytm payment bank, that is a NBFC. So I'll come to the various types of NBFCs. There you will find the types of 11 types of NBFCs are at present working in the country. And of late we are observing that NBFCs are very much in the fintech space. They are competing with the banks like HDFC and SBI, because if you see that Paytm bank, although it is a bank only, payment bank, but As far as this mm, credit card, RuPay credit card space, uh, not credit card, it's a debit card. Paytm debit card is the second highest issuance in the country as of now. So NBFCs has also ventured into the fintech space. Number of NBFCs as of now registered with RBI is 9,601, and out of which deposit accepting NBFC, which we call NBFC D, they are 66. Systemically important NBFC NDSI are 278 as of 31st March 2020. So which are the NBFCs are categorized as NDSI? They are having asset size more than 500 crore. So those NBFCs, we are telling them as significantly important entity for the financial stability of the country. And asset reconstruction company, they are also NBFCs. So there are 28 such asset reconstruction company as of now. This is the same thing mostly. Non-banking financial institutions, and if you see the extreme left hand side, all India financial institutions, they are also NBFC, non-banking financial company, but they are mostly government owned financial institutions. They are NABARD, SIDBI, Exim Bank. Then deposit taking, non-deposit taking NBFCs, housing finance company. Of late, RBI has been empowered to regulate the housing finance companies also. Then primary dealers. Primary dealers are helping the or they are very important players in the government borrowing, that is in government security market. There are 21 primary dealers. Bank primary dealers are 14, and standalone means which are not backed by any bank. They are 7 in numbers. So primary dealers are also NBFCs. So overall 9,642 NBFCs are there as on date. And if you see the NBFC NDSI, this comprises 86.3% asset size of the NBFC, of the total NBFCs in the country. So NDSI, that is systemically important NBFCs, are having 86% asset size of all the NBFCs in the country. This is the number of NBFCs in our Kolkata region. You see that mostly the category of NBFCs are investment and credit companies. They are mostly in investment, asset financing, and loan company. So there are 4,409 such NBFCs in Kolkata region. Core investment company are 12. Core investment, you must be aware that those who are investing in their own group only, own subsidiaries. 90% of their investment should be in their subsidiaries only, in their group companies. Then infrastructure finance company, there is one infrastructure finance company in our Kolkata region, that is in Srei Infrastructure Finance Limited. Factors, there is none. In NBFC Infrastructure Debt Fund, there is none. MFI, there are 11 MFI in Kolkata region. Non-operative financial holding company, NOFHCs, number 7. There is one, that is because Bandhan Bank for Bandhan Bank, there is a NOFHC, because all new bank which are licensed after 2013, they should have a holding company structure. So that holding company structure is an NBFC. So Bandhan Financial Services, it's an NBFC which is holding the shares of Bandhan Bank. Then the mortgage guarantee company, there is none. Account aggregator, there is none. P2P, that is payment to peer-to-peer lending. It's a both account aggregator and peer-to-peer lending NBFCs are digital uh, companies, actually fintech companies. So we don't have any such company in our Kolkata region.
डिंगो
One digital app-based company.
उठली पिकलू 2 घंटे में उठना था ना डिक्को
Please keep
पिक्को
your video. Please unmute. Please mute yourself, all the participants.
Sorry, sir, continue.
Yeah, one digital app-based NBFCs recently has been licensed by RBI. That is M-Pocket. Some of you might have heard about M-Pocket. They are a digital app-based lending company. They are lending to the students, mostly to the student community. Their registered office is at Sector 5, Salt Lake, and they are lending a very small amount to the student community, even to the um, customers also, non-student community also they are lending, but in a small amount, not more than 10,000. So they are doing their credit appraisal based on the civil score or based on other social media related mm, documents available with them. Based on that, through AI based mechanism, they are appraising the credit worthiness of the customer, and they are lending. So there are 4,435 NBFCs in the eastern region, which is almost 50% of the total number of NBFC in the country. This is very important because most of the NBFCs in our Kolkata regions are very, very small asset sized company, and many of the times what we have observed that they are mostly doing not much activity. They are investment company. They are investing in shares or debentures or other marketable securities, but mostly they are dormant sometimes. So there is a potential for these companies to be misutilized for this money laundering activities also. What we have observed during my last 1.5 year tenure in Kolkata, what I have observed that some of the companies, they are very small sized companies, but not doing much activities, and sometimes dormant also. Dormant I am saying because they are not uploading the returns to on the Cosmos platform. So that way I'm saying they are not very active, but sometimes they are being utilized for money laundering activities, for uh, layering of transactions, financial transaction. So because the auditor, the chartered accountants are present in this seminar, I request all of you to please see whether there is a possibility for merger and amalgamation of these small companies, and if there is or if there is no if the companies are dormant, then it is better to surrender the certificate of registration. If they are not uploading the returns or not doing much activity, then either they can consider merger and amalgamation with better managed bigger companies, or they may consider surrendering the license, because it's a big concern for our top management also, because the number of NBFCs in Kolkata region is quite high, small sized NBFC. So this is the difference. All of you are aware of this difference, but just to recapitulate on these things, there are three types of banks: public sector, private sector, and foreign banks. There are another two types, but that is payment bank and small finance bank. I'm not taking those things. I'm taking only the universal banks. There are three types of universal banks and 11 types of NBFCs. Regulation is similar for all banks. It is risk-based system which is applicable for the banks, and that itself in the latest monetary policy, as Mr. Bhutoria has also mentioned about that risk-based regulation, that may also be now onwards, it will be applicable for bigger sized NBFCs like Bajaj Finance, Sriram Transport, or L&T. Their balance sheet size is equivalent to a small bank, so they also should be come under the regulation supervision of RBI, similar to the banks, because they are enjoying the regulatory arbitrage. These bigger NBFCs, I'm talking about Bajaj Finance or Sriram Transport. And next is demand deposit. Demand deposits, bank can accept both type of
Sir,
deposits.
you are not audible, sir.
I'm not audible.
So perfectly audible, Mohit bhaiya.
अभी बीच में अटक गए थे.
अच्छा. Okay. So kindly just
Now you are audible, sir.
So now you're audible. Continue.
Okay. So demand deposit, bank can accept any type of deposit, savings or term deposit, but NBFC cannot accept that. Capital adequacy ratio. All of you are aware that that is capital divided by risk-weighted assets. That is for banks, it is 11.5% under Basel III regulations, and for NBFCs still it is under Basel I regulation, and which is 15% of the asset. So NBFCs by default, they are having more capital adequacy ratio in comparison to the banks. Cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratios are not applicable for NBFC. Only for deposit accepting NBFC, 15% of their deposit, that has to be invested in liquid assets. So that is applicable for deposit accepting NBFCs. NBFCs are not part of the payment and settlement systems. That means they cannot draw checks on themselves, or they cannot issue checks drawn on themselves. There is no DICGC coverage, that is insurance coverage is not available on the deposit accepted by NBFCs. There is no priority sector lending target for NBFC. Protection under lending of last resort. See, whenever there is any difficulty, RBI can extend directly the loans to the affected banks. But for NBFC, this facility is not there as per our RBI Act. Even during this crisis period, if you could see that this channel of direct support to liquidity support to NBFC, that has not been opened. but it has been that liquidity facility has been provided through the banks. Means first RBI provided the liquidity under through liquidity adjustment framework window through the mechanism of targeted long-term repo operations. So first RBI extends the facility, TLTRO facility, to the banks, and in turn bank is investing into the bonds, debentures or CPE issued by NBFC. So it is a indirect finance refinancing scheme, but not a direct finance, because as per our RBI Act, this lending of last resort is not available. That is only available for the banks. For supervision, all banks under risk-based supervision, but NBFCs, for certain NBFC, that is significantly important entities which having asset size of more than 500 crore, those NBFCs we are taking up for inspection under CAMELS pattern. CAMELS is the acronym for capital adequacy, asset quality, management, earning, liquidity, and systems. So still we are under CAMELS pattern while inspecting the NBFC. But banks have already we have been inspecting the banks under risk-based supervision model, which in this monetary policy, governor has indicated to the this migration to risk-based audit for bigger NBFCs also. Then other NBFCs like mutual fund, insurance company, nidhi companies, chit funds, they are also NBFCs, but they are regulated by other regulators like SEBI, mutual funds and collective investment scheme, venture capital funds. SEBI is the regulating authority, like that. So these are some important financial parameters with respect to banks and NBFC. If you see the CRAR, that is capital adequacy ratio, that is banks are consistently having better figure, CRAR figure, in comparison to banks. As on March 2020, the pink color column, if you can see that is the latest figure. So in all aspects, in fact, CRAR, gross NPA, net NPA, or return on asset, NBFCs are maintaining better better figure. They are showing better figure in comparison to the banks. I am taking these NBFCs. These are NDSI only, non-deposit taking systemically important entities I am talking about. So they are maintaining good performance as of March 2020. This is as per our financial stability report. And next is, I don't know whether it is visible or not. So
your screen is visible, sir. You have red marked the bank borrowings and debentures, right, sir?
Yes.
It is highlighted.
Yes. So here I have taken this figure from our trend and progress report, RBI publication as on December 2019. If you see the bigger NBFC, the first column, second column, this one, this is having NBFCs with asset size above 5,000 crore. Here, bank borrowings is 24.5% of the total outside liabilities, whereas debenture is 37. That means bigger NBFCs are sourcing their borrowing requirement or funding requirement from market, that is through debenture. They are also taking recourse of CP also, CP inter corporate borrowings, but mostly through debenture route, whereas bank borrowing is 24.5%. If we go to the next level, that is having asset size, NBFCs having asset size above 500 crore but below 5,000 crore, there you will see that that is more favor, the figure is towards bank borrowing. That means the smaller size NBFC are more relying them on the bank borrowing in comparison to market borrowing. This is obvious because uh, the NBFCs which are bigger in size, like Bajaj Finance, PFC, REC, or say L&T, they have a good reputation, so they are able to borrow from the market through debenture route, through commercial paper route. They are able to source the fund from the market. But smaller sized NBFC, if we come to the next level, that is below 500 crore asset size, they are mostly relying on bank borrowing, and this is increasingly, as the size is smaller, the reliance on bank borrowing will be more. So here is the total figure. I just wanted to uh, emphasize on this thing only, that bigger size NBFCs are mostly sourcing funds from market, whereas smaller size NBFCs are mostly sourcing their funding requirement from the banks only. So this is the uh, pie chart for sources and uses of funds by the NBFC. You see that debenture is 30%, bank borrowing 28%, commercial paper 4%, like that. Others is also there. Others means their promoters own fund, share capital and reserve. Whereas uses of funds mostly in loans and advances, investment is there, like that. So this is the distribution of NBFC credit sector wise. NBFCs are mostly extending their credit to industry, that is 56.7%, then retail sector, services sector, and others, and agriculture and MSME, sorry, others and agriculture and allied activities. MSME is coming under industrial sector. Then coming to the declining number of NBFC in the recent period, if you see that in 2018-19 there is a huge jump in cancellation of COR. COR is certificate of registration for NBFCs. 1,851 COR has been cancelled by RBI. All of you are aware that it is under NOF route, that is a net own fund less than 2 crore. Those who are not able to adhere to this guideline, or not able to meet that criteria, that those NBFC have been phased out. Registration also, number of NBFC registered are also very few, and it is only 20 NBFCs in 19 and 20 financial year. And here I also want to mention that RBI has stopped giving any license for deposit accepting NBFC. So there is no deposit acceptance NBFC as of now. And whatever you are seeing, that number 20, that is mostly the fintech companies, that is a P2P account aggregator, or digital app-based NBFCs, they are actually uh, being given licenses in comparison to traditional NBFCs. Okay, now I'll come to this latest powers or latest empowerment to RBI by Government of India as per Finance Act 2019. These are certain empowerment for RBI has taken place. Minimum, as per section 45 IA, minimum net own fund between 2 crore to 100 crore. And RBI will notify different amounts of NOF to different categories of NBFCs. So although 2 crore to 100 crore, government has said the minimum net own fund should be for the banks, for the NBFC. But still, if you see the infrastructure finance company, there we have notified that minimum net own fund for this IFC company should be 300 crore. So it is as per the risk perception of that NBFC, RBI can notify different amount. Then section 45 ID, RBI has been empowered to remove any directors of NBFC other than, of course, government NBFCs. Then section 45 IE, it talks about power to supersede the board of directors of NBFC. Section 45 MAA, it says the bank can remove or debar an auditor of NBFC for a max period of 3 years at a time. This is important for you people also. See, any deviation or of course RBI will discuss or consult the ICAI, but the empowerment is has taken place. Then 45 MBA, resolution of NBFCs. We have all seen in recent periods that RBI has taken some drastic measures in resolution of some banks like Yes Bank and Lakshmi Vilas Bank. But RBI has the power. As per Finance Act 2019, RBI has been empowered to undertake resolution of NBFCs also through amalgamation, deconstruction, and also splitting these NBFCs into various activities. Like if RBI thinks that the profit-making activities of NBFCs, like say we find, if we think that one company is having is viable, one sector of business is viable for that, like equipment finance is viable, but infrastructure finance is not viable. So RBI can split that company into two different companies. Then section 45 NAA. Under this act, RBI has been empowered to call information of the group companies. Means even though they are not NBFC, but they are group companies, RBI is empowered to call for information of these group companies, and even RBI can carry out inspection of these group companies, which may not be necessarily NBFCs. And NHB Act 1987 has been amended, and RBI is now the regulator for housing finance company. It has been taken over from NHB. Supervision and complaint redressal is still with NHB right now. Then regulation of NBFC, doing prudential regulations as well as conduct of business for deposit taking and significantly important entities. Both prudential and business conducts are applicable, whereas for non-deposit accepting type 1 means small size. those who are not accepting deposit and not, sorry, those who are not having any public interface. For them, as of now, there is no such regulations, neither prudential nor conduct of business. Whereas for type 2, those who are having public interface, limited regulations are there, and limited regulations in terms of prudential as well as business conduct. Prudential regulations means I am talking about various RBI guidelines like IRAC norms, CRAR, exposure norms, whereas business conduct like they are FPC, that is what is that FPC? PBC criteria, so all NBFC has to adhere to, that is principal business criteria. 50% of their financial asset, out of total asset, 50% should be should be the financial assets, and out of total income, 50% should be financial income. That PBC criteria, all NBFC has to have to maintain PBC criteria. Then these are the varied requirements, like if a category of NBFC is investment and credit company, then entry point norm is 2 crore. Then capital adequacy ratio of 15% is applicable. PBC criteria of 50-50 has to be adhered to. 90 days of asset classification has to be maintained. Provisioning norms, same as banks, that is more than 90 days. If it is more than 90 days delinquent, then it will be categorized as non-performing assets, and accordingly provisioning has to be maintained. Then credit concentration norm has to be adhered to, that is 15% and 25% of the tier 1 capital or own fund. In fact, for NBFC sector, the credit concentration norm is, for a single borrower, it is 15% of their own funds, and for a group borrowers, it is 25% of own funds. If it is a infra borrower, infrastructure borrower, related borrower, then 20% of own fund can be extended as loan. So up to 15 plus 5, that is 20% can be extended, and for if it's a group company, additional 10% can be extended. And for composite loan, with the approval of the board, it is 25% for composite loans. I'm talking about both fund based and non-fund based. Together it can go up to 25% of the own fund of NBFC in with regards to amount of maximum loan to a borrower. That can be 25% of the own fund of the NBFC, which is extending the loan. And for a group company, it can become 40%. SLR, it is actually only applicable for deposit acceptance NBFCs. So these are the various types of regulations for the NBFC sector. Then there are also certain difference between prudential regulations applicable for significantly and important entities and non-significant entities. Non-significant means below 500 crore asset size. So like reserve fund, it will be every year NBFC should transfer 20% of their profit after tax to statutory reserve. This is same for both SI and non-SI category. And investment in group companies up to 10% is allowed. You can NBFC can invest more than 10% in the group companies, but that will be deducted from their own fund while calculating the net own fund. And for that group companies definition, we are still following section 370B of Companies Act 1956. Then leverage ratio is not applicable for SI because CRAR is applicable for CRAR is applicable for SI. So leverage ratio is only applicable for non-SI. Leverage ratio means total outside liability divided by own funds. So that is the maximum limit for non-SI. Liquid asset, that is only meant for deposit acceptance NBFC, and in our Kolkata region, we don't have any deposit acceptance NBFC. LTV ratio, loan to value ratio, loan against gold, maximum 75% can be extended. Loan against share, 50% can be extended. This is same as for non-SI also. Asset classification norms is 90 days, whereas for a non-SI, it is still 180 days. NPA norms is prevalent. And microfinance institution, max interest rate is this, lower of first means top 5 banks base rate will be averaged out and multiplied by 2.75. So that will be the maximum interest rate to be charged by microfinance institutions. This is of course lower of the two, cost of funds plus margin. Margin means 10% of for large MFI having a loan portfolio of 100 crore and 12% for those MFI, smaller MFI whose loan portfolio is less than 100 crore. This is only in the microfinance sector where the interest rate is regulated by RBI. No other sectors interest rate is regulated. This very important aspect actually. Only for microfinance sector, the maximum interest rate is regulated by RBI because there are issues there because here the customers are small borrowers, agricultural or allied activities, or very small borrowers, self-help groups, and especially after the Andhra Pradesh crisis, when there are a lot of upheavals against the MFI sectors, people were there. So RBI set up a committee under YH Malegaon, one of our board member that time. So under his guidance, RBI formed a committee, and that time we have come out with subsequently we have come out with a guideline that the maximum interest rate which is charged by MFI, it should not be usurious. There should be a cap. So that cap is regulated, and that is lower of this. Why RBI is supervising? That is for deposit protection, customer protection, and financial stability. And we are doing supervision. 4 pillars of supervisions are there. On-site inspections for significantly important entities. We are visiting the NBFC and carrying out the inspection on-site. Off-site surveillance through Cosmos returns and XBRL. Now we are migrating to XBRL. Sanatan Kachap will be handling that session after shortly afterwards. So that off-site super surveillance based on the returns uploaded by NBFCs, we are seeing the or we are assessing any early warning signals are emerging out in from the NBFC sector or not. If there is any early warning signals, we will immediately uh, mm, put our uh, strict surveillance on that NBFC, or will carry out scrutiny based on the early warning signals emanated from the offsite returns submitted by that NBFC, like say liquidity point of view. In case the NBFC is under liquidity stress in comparison to the peer group, then we'll undertake first we'll talk to the NBFC what are the issues. So these are actually helpful supervision measures through this return submission system. Market intelligence, we are getting the inputs from various agencies like say credit rating agencies or mutual funds, banks. We are getting the various market intelligence, even from newspaper reports also. Any adverse comments, any adverse feedback from any significantly important entities or even small entities also, we are swung into action based on the market intelligence inputs. And of course, exception reports submitted by the statutory auditors. Whatever you are submitting, in case the NBFC is not adhering to the PBC criteria, then also we are taking note of that, and we are asking that NBFC that either you surrender your COR or improve upon, otherwise RBI will take action. So another pillar is there, fifth pillar, that is engagement with stakeholders. That is, as I said, is talking to, it's kind of market intelligence inputs only, talking to the credit rating agencies. And so RBI will talk to the credit rating agencies in case there is a credit downgrade of any NBFC, then rating downgrade, then talking to banks, because banks are the lender of that NBFC. So any stress on any portfolio, any loan portfolio, any consortium account, so that thing we take inputs from the banks also. We take inputs from the auditors also. We take inputs from the mutual funds, market players also. So these are certain developments, latest developments. RBI has come out with the liquidity risk management framework. Up to 100 crore asset size, that liquidity risk management framework for those NBFCs have been implemented. That is actually the liquidity statement, structural liquidity statement in Cosmos. We are asking the NBFC that you this bucketing, time bucketing is more granular now. And then LCR guidelines, that is liquidity coverage ratio. Bye-bye.
I think there was some technical issue from Mr. Majumdar's side. Maybe
Yeah, he may be joining, I think.
power issue was there. Maybe let him continue, join in some time.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
कच्छप सर तो हैं.
He is having a talk with Mr. Majumdar, I suppose. In the meantime, I would like to inform all the delegates that we are having
हाँ,
two.
Mohit ji is back.
Yeah, Mr. Majumdar had some important work, so he had to leave urgently. So he said he has been called, so he cannot continue.
No issue. So we
Mr.
can ask
Kachap,
Mr. Kachap to start
yeah,
his
yeah,
discussion.
yeah.
कच्छप sir, are you listening to us? कच्छप sir को phone
Yes,
करता
sir.
हूँ.
Yes, sir. Actually, GM sir had called me right now only.
No issue. No issue.
Sir, I'll start, sir. Good evening. Sir is not there, but
Sir, if you could put on your video is off.
oh, sorry. Extremely sorry.
No issue, sir. Perfect, sir. Perfect.
Sir, दिखाई दे रही है, sir?
Yes, yes. Very good evening, Kachap sir, and welcome again, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Bhutoria sir, and Sangvi sahab and members of ACA.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, thank you for providing this opportunity, sir. Actually, this platform itself will actually help me give a little background into it. I am the nodal officer in Reserve Bank for rollout of XBRL for non-NDSIs also. Like all the companies before 500 asset side. So rollout of a migration from Cosmos to XBRL is I'm the nodal officer for it. So giving a platform and speaking to the members of stat auditors and it will really help me a long way in actually my doing my own target. So first of all, thank you for that. And actually, sir, before I start the PPT, I'll just give a brief background, sir, कि XBRL में हुआ क्या था basically कि since sir I'm audible, sir. I'm speaking actually little.
Yeah, audible.
Sir, few of the members are saying कि if you can speak little louder, like I have just
ठीक है
seen.
sir. ठीक है sir. Actually, what happened, sir, in this XBRL rollout, Cosmos actually, sir, as you already know, Cosmos has been running out for quite some time, and it is a stable package and everything. But there are some, it doesn't have some validation checks, isn't it? Basically, the number formats are not standardized. You can actually, in some of the fields, in the some of the tabs, you can actually enter words and it takes it. So deriving and so just hold on, sir. Deriving and analyzing, downloading and analyzing those data from there was issues actually, a long-standing issues, sir. And उसके बाद क्या हुआ? Then since August last year, we have started UAT, user acceptance test for XBRLs. Okay, XBRL rollout, sir. So in the first phase, all India basis, actually we started for the NDSIs. So we had a training in for NDSI company. We had training in December of last year. बोलो ना, meeting में बोल दो. Hello, sorry sir. So in December of last year, we had a training workshop also for the participants of NDSIs, and actually, and as of now, since March 31st, sir, we had actually migrated, all the NDSIs have migrated to XBRL portal. But parallel system was also running. Basically, the NDSIs are filing in Cosmos also and in XBRL also. Okay, sir. So since and for originally, our target to onboard XBRL for non-NDSIs was March 20 itself, but due to COVID and all lockdown, we could not go ahead with it. So, giving this background, I'll just start my PPT, sir. So the PPT is visible, sir?
So you have to share your screen, sir.
Oh, sorry.
No issue. No issue.
Sorry, I just forgot.
Perfect, sir. Just do a presentation mode of it.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yes, sir. I've just given this flowchart actually gives the present mode of what in Cosmos how the data flows to the our server and everything, sir. So there are only two returns for non-NDSI, sir. One is SAC and one is NBS 9. You or NBS 8 for 100 to 500 companies, sir. So sorry. So what happens, sir? Either the companies are doing what nowadays? Presently, they download the return from the Cosmos, they fill it up, and then upload it in internet, and they get an acknowledgement. Or rather, like for the on the base, like in the case of SAC, what they do, they can actually scan it and upload it in the Cosmos, or either way, they actually submit a hard copy to us, and then we at Reserve Bank manually enter the field. Okay, sir. At our end, at Reserve Bank end, at RO level in Kolkata, हम उसको fill up करते हैं आपके profile में, आपको update करते हैं, and then it goes to our server. So there is no straight through process as such, basically. So, and then, sir, another thing, deriving this actually, what happens when it goes to web server and all that, and from here we'll have to extract, अगर हमें कुछ analysis भी करना है, sir, so we need to extract data from there. So it is a quite a tedious process to extract data from here and then analysis to be done. Okay, sir. If you take a whole NBFC, like group of NBFC, like if you want an MFI का data का अगर आपका pool बनाना, it is quite cumbersome. तो XBRL और उसमें भी क्या होगा कि डेटा जो भी आता है सर अभी उसमें किसी में डेट फॉर्मेट अलग है, किसी में आपके वर्ड्स में लिखा हुआ है सर, वैसे बहुत सारे स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन नहीं है, जो अपने मन से डाला वो ले लेता है XBRL, नॉट सॉरी, हाँ, Cosmos. So just to prevent that and to bring out standardization and also have validation checks in different sheets of that respective returns, XBRL has been launched, sir. सर अभी के ये स्लाइड आपको यूजर नेम पासवर्ड मिलता है XBR, आप अभी के प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन में क्या है कॉस्मोस में कि आप लोग अप्लाई करते हैं यूजर नेम पासवर्ड के लिए, हम लोग मेल से कॉस्मोस DNBS कोलकाता से वी गिव योर लॉगिन क्रेडेंशियल्स, ठीक है, उसके बाद सर सॉरी then the NBFC maker downloads the returns and fills it up and then verify कर देते हैं और अपलोड कर देते हैं सर. कहीं पे भी आप लोग का वैलिडेशन चेक्स होता है सर, वैलिडेशन चेक्स में एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि I'll just मतलब one sheet actually data filled in one sheet of a return doesn't actually validates the data in the other sheets. See, I will come to that later, sir. सर कॉस्मोस का यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड बनाना हमारे रारो से ही होता है एट कोलकाता ऑफिस ओनली, so it is quite easy and convenient and everything. Now we come to the XBRL system. What is different in the login credentials and everything, sir? Sir, there is only one XBRL admin in Reserve Bank, which is at our central office level. The central office, XBRL admin gives rights to the regional offices, just like I have got a right from central office to create super user ID, hold NBFC super user IDs for the NBFCs. Basically, in this case, what happens? Ki XBRL admin will give me a right. I will uh, create login credentials, super user IDs for the NBFCs. पहले के कॉस्मोस में क्या होता था, आप लोग अप्लाई करते थे, हम लोग यूजर नेम पासवर्ड बना के दे देते थे, मेकर का अलग से और चेकर का वेरिफिकेशन VER करके हम लोग दे देते थे. अभी की केस में ऐसा नहीं होगा सर. व्हाट विल हैपन, I will create at Kolkata office, I will create a super user ID. The super user ID is as good as a administrator. He will have administrator rights, creation rights in XBRL for that particular company. So, जिनके पास only one person will get a of a company of an NBFC will get an XBRL super user ID. That super user ID holder will create a maker and will create a checker ID. Okay, sir. And and thirdly, they will create also a statutory auditor XBRL username password for the statutory auditor to file the SAC report. Now, in this case, in XBRL, the SAC has also gone into uh, direct XBRL formats only, rather than the earlier PDF formats, which which is in vogue right now. Okay. So, in earlier, actually, in XBRL, the number of returns to be filed has been rationalized from 23 to 19. Basically, जो हमारे relevant to the present audience, basically जो हमारे NBS 8 और 9 थे सर, NBS 8 और 9, NBS 8 था आपके 100 to 500 के बीच वाले और NBS 9 100 below वाले. These two returns have, इसके लिए आप अभी आपको एक ही रिटर्न भरना होगा दोनों कैटेगरी की कंपनी को DNBS 2. They will have to only fill up only one this thing. There is no distinction. Basically, NBS 8 and NBS 9 has been merged into DNBS 2. And basically, उसमें क्या है कि the the number of sheets have increased. NBS 9 में 5-6 parts ही थे. DNBS 8 में और ज्यादा parts है, दोनों को मिला के एक ही बना दिया उन्होंने. आप लोग को क्या करना होगा, जो NBS 9 है उसके लिए तो जो 100 बिलो है उनके लिए तो ज्यादा कोई डेटा रहेगा नहीं DNBS में, so most of the sheets will be blank only. So this slide shows the which have been merged and everything. Only DNBS 2 pertains to the present audience है. Non-NDSI इसके लिए आप left hand side में देख सकते हैं. And another thing is SAC. SAC will get later, sir. सर इसमें देख लीजिएगा, आप लोग से रेलेवेंट है. पहले सैक हार्ड कॉपी रहता था सर, अभी आप लोग को DNBS 10 भरना होगा और आपने नहीं भरना है सर. द कंपनी डज नॉट हैव टू फिल इट अप. द स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर हैज टू फिल इट अप एंड द स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर का XBRL लॉगिन क्रेडेंशियल्स विल बी क्रिएटेड बाय द सुपर यूजर ID होल्डर ऑफ दैट कंपनी. Some of the new returns have been for the P2Ps and CICs have been introduced, but I don't. Abhi to actually it's not relevant. Sir, I'm skipping this. This is nearly the same thing, sir. Sir, इसमें एक there is a comparison between what is अभी के present state में और future XBRL के state में क्या difference है सर. Basically पहले अभी जैसे multiple formats है सर, मतलब आपके लिए तो दो ही हैं, पर जो non NDSIs हैं, number of non NDSI 66, they have to file quarterly, monthly and annual returns also, sir. So most of them are in multiple formats. उनके किसी में बहुत सारे में there is PDF format also, like SAC and everything. So there is lack of standardization right now. So present state में in XBRL state में in future when XBRL is totally rolled out in Kolkata and all over India, तो आपके पास एक standard formats रहेंगे basically. ठीक है. So this is just a slide regarding XBRL के ऊपर है कि it has been tested and operational in more than 50 countries. So it is a tried and tested model. So I think and it has been used in other supervision cadres of Reserve Bank also, like DCBS also. The cooperative bank section also uses this reporting format. So ये वहीं से ही this has been introduced for the companies also. Sir, I'll go now into a little technical aspects of all this, because this PPT has already been shared with the participants, I guess. So इसमें I'll just go through key and then I'll point out where are the difficult points basically, not difficult where it will actually matter basically. So steps to install. So first of all, right now, presently, the status of XBRL rollout is that we have been sending actually mails to all the non-NDSIs. Around 3,500 mails have already been sent. We have been receiving replies also. We have just given them a format for details for creation of login ID for XBRL. Basically, in that, we have just mentioned company code, name of the NBFC, uh, name of the NBFC and the name of the person, super user ID holder. I've just actually I can't share it right now, but we have sent around 3,500 mails during the last 1 month, sir, and we have been receiving replies also. I think so. Most of many of you, the participants, companies have also may have received it and replying it. So the number of fields are very small, less basically. Uh, you have to give the company code, that is the CAL number, sir. Name of the compliance officer, name, first name, second name, and mobile number of the compliance officer and the email ID. That has to come from the company side. Company हमें बताएगा कि किसके नाम पे super user ID बनाना है Excel sheet पे, because we'll be creating through bulk. So we have received around 300 to 500, I think, 300 or 400 maximum replies from NDSIs only, non-NDSIs, sorry, non-NDSIs only. So the first thing is, so we are in the process of creating super user ID. We have created around 300 out of the 400 we have received. So the moment we do it in a, to give a little background, we do it, we compile all the data we have received from various companies and we upload it in the XBRL portal at my end. I'm the regional analyst and administrator for Kolkata office. So I upload it and the XBRL portal itself directly sends the login credentials directly to the recipient. It won't go to the any other person. It will go to the mail ID which is submitted by the company directly. So after receiving that super user ID, the person who is recipient of uh, the recipient of the super user ID will have to log into xbrl.rbi.org.in and they'll have to kindly use super user username and password. So username here the person has written Rajkamal Goldie and but here actually most of the names we are creating right now is in the name of NBFC code, that is a CAL number. Then you'll have to enter the password and everything and submit, and then you'll have to change the password afterwards. The first after the you'll have to keep the password and of your choice, sir. Then after that, the once once the XBRL super user ID holder has logs into that XBRL, he'll have to now create a maker and a checker for filing the details and everything. So first of all, you need to go to add user and the role will be bank maker. बेसिकली एक्चुअली ये सब स्क्रीनशॉट सब एक बैंक के पोर्टल से हमने लिया हुआ है, तो मोस्ट प्रोबब्ली इट शुड कम एज एनबीएफसी मेकर. सो एनबीएफसी मेकर में जाके द पर्सन हैज टू for the non NDSIs only one return out of all these are applicable, that is important financial parameter annually, that is NBS 8 and NBS 9. And you have to enter that maker's name, the maker's username, first name, last name, and email ID. The moment the super user ID submits this, clicks the submit button, the username password will go to the maker. Similarly for the checker. Similarly, they'll have to create your bank checker, and then quarterly they'll have to click only this return, and then you submit it. The login credentials will go to the respective checker and सर नीचे जो add user का, actually I'm not able to see it myself. Just hold on. Then afterwards, like once the maker and the checker have been actually created, now आप लोगों को you'll have to install a download a returns package from here only, the XBRL main page where आप जहाँ login करते हैं, download the returns package. So returns package is generally मैं उस दिन भुटोरिया सर भी आए थे तो मैं उनको बताया था, it is just like the earlier income tax filing sort of the format XML format which used to download and then upload it in the income tax website. It is just like that. It is a micro enabled returns package which you'll have to actually it saves automatically in the desktop itself. So from there you'll have to download. It is around 360 MB. So it requires it takes a little bit time, 5 to 10 minutes to download. Then you actually execute. It's an exe file, so you install it in your desktop only. So after the download returns package has been downloaded, it will be just like uh, how to go. Just wait. So sorry, I'll just skip one major actually important thing. Uh, Download returns package, this page will appear. So you'll here you'll have to there will be other versions also over here, like the 2006 version will also be there, or 2015 version will also be there. 2000 you'll have to download the latest version. The moment अगर आप कोई पुराना version डाउनलोड करते हैं, so at the time of uploading the final return, sir, there will be validation problems. The XBRL this thing your portal will not take it. So just be careful कि you download download the latest installer package, sir. So after installing it, so just hello, hello,
Yes, sir.
hello,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah,
So
you
you
are
can
audible.
see. Actually, I've minimized my own video, so
No,
I'm
no.
visible. Okay, sir.
Yeah, we can
So,
see. We can see.
yeah. So actually, the moment you install that exe that installer, there will be and execute that exe file. Sir, आपके पास आपके desktop में you'll get a icon like this. It's an RBI file. So the once you double click it, this window sort of that return installer will open, return package will open, sir. Okay, sir. Then after that, you will have to select returns name, which is your that important financial parameter annual. Return code will be DNBS2. Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Returns code will be DNBS2, and then reporting frequency is annual. रिपोर्टिंग करेंसी दिस ये सब ये दोनों फील्ड पहले से प्रीफिल्ड रहते हैं, इसमें कुछ करना नहीं होता है सर. एंड यहाँ पे जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, बैंक एफआई कोड. बैंक एफआई कोड आपको आपको यहाँ पे यू हैव टू राइट योर कैल नंबर एंड क्लिक गेट. द मोमेंट यू क्लिक गेट, ये सब जितने भी ये दोनों जो फील्ड्स हैं, ये दोनों जो फील्ड्स है सर, ये ऑटो फिल हो जाएंगे. देन यू सबमिट, यू प्रेस द सबमिट बटन. ओके सर.
Yeah, perfect, sir.
So after doing that, sir, there will be a small pop-up sort of a window which comes up, and then you'll have to fill up small this thing. Just drop down से आपको select करना है deposit taking, non-deposit taking, systemically, non-systemically important NBFCs, and then submit. Classification ICC रहेगा most of the time. I think so, investment and credit company. Name of the regional office, that will be Kolkata, and then select submit. The moment you submit, आप click करते हैं, you'll get a window like this. You'll get a window like this, which is DNBS 2. Right now, it is in this format. It is another DNBS 1 है, sir, which has to be filled up by the non NDSIs 500 above. So here you will get DNBS 2. Sir, DNBS 2 में sir, do you want DNBS 2 का format, sir? Should I
Sir,
open it?
अच्छा रहेगा. Yeah, please, if you can.
हाँ सर, वो एक्चुअली इसमें नहीं है. I could not paste it over here. So
No problem.
just I'll just minimize everything and just open a DNBS 2.
Yeah, that will be good.
Yes. सर दिख रहा है सर?
Yeah.
So the DNBS 2 is quite a long. वो पूरा आपका.
सर एक बार अगर ये पूरा रिटर्न को थोड़ा गो थ्रू कर दे फॉर द पार्टिसिपेंट, इट विल गुड.
जी सर. एक्चुअली द वंस जो NBS 8 और 9 मेरे पास अभी है ना सर, which is it is not a blank format. It is I have downloaded from my NBS and it has companies names and financials. So I don't want to show that. तो मैं नहीं तो मैं कंपेयर करके भी बता सकता था आपको कि किसमें क्या डिफरेंस है. So the first page is navigator. Navigator इतना बड़ा एक sheet है with many tabs and everything. तो उसमें क्या क्या है कि you can actually आप पार्ट 1 में जाके जैसे सोर्सेज ऑफ फंड्स है, आपका लाइबिलिटीज भरने हैं, तो आप क्लिक करेंगे तो यू गो टू पार्ट 1 डायरेक्टली. तो यू कैन स्क्रॉल एंड गो थ्रू द टैब इधर से भी. ठीक है सर? Okay. From here you can go to all the tabs available in DNBS 2. Most of them will not be applicable, or it will generally be whatever I've seen in non-NDSI. So sources of funds हो गया sir. Then it has the same thing sir. DNBS sources of funds, but आपको जैसे NBS 9 और NBS 8 में रहा होगा sir. Sources of funds में then you get NOF and everything. आपको NOF का भी उसमें पार्ट रहता था, एक ही शीट में सब आ जाते थे सर, isn't it? हाँ, इस केस में उसको उन्होंने ब्रेकअप कर दिया है बेसिकली. आपको पार्ट 1 में सोर्सेज ऑफ फंड्स है, एप्लीकेशन ऑफ फंड्स है, आपको प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अलग से दे दिया है. थर्ड ये भी था, NOF कैलकुलेशन अलग शीट में लेके गए, rather than in the same sheet in erstwhile NBS 8 and 9 इसको अलग से लेके गए. Similarly सर, डिटेल्स ऑफ एक्सपोजर ये भी पहले वन ऑफ द टैब्स में ही था. ये डिटेल्स ऑफ एक्सपोजर टू कैपिटल मार्केट, टू ग्रुप एसोसिएट्स एंड एवरीथिंग, ये तो अलग से टैब में था पहले भी, पर यहाँ पे भी अलग से है सर. जैसे सेक्टोरल क्रेडिट सर, सेक्टोरल लोन एनालिसिस, ये फूड वगैरह सबका था. ये इतने सारे आपके पास टैब्स नहीं थे सर. इसमें क्या किया है सर कि DNBS 2 में बहुत सारे शीट्स को ब्रेक करके अलग अलग पार्ट्स में कन्वर्ट कर दिया है सर. जस्ट लाइक एसेट क्लासिफिकेशन हो गया सर. फिर जस्ट होल्ड ऑन, शेयर होल्डिंग पैटर्न आ गया है सर. शेयर होल्डिंग पैटर्न तो किसी भी नहीं था आप लोग में से, ये आपको एक नया भरना होगा सर. NBS 8 और 9 में तो नहीं था. बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स के भी नहीं थे. ठीक है सर? नहीं थे. हाँ, ये सब आ गए. टॉप 25 सब्सक्राइबर्स ऑफ डिवेंचर्स, टॉप ICDs के, ये सब कुछ नहीं था सर. ये सब नया इसमें टैब्स है. अगर NBS मतलब उसमें नहीं था, अगर आपके पास है नहीं, तो यू विल हैव टू लीव इट ब्लैंक बेसिकली. यस सर. देन नाउ आई विल जस्ट गो थ्रू कि कैसे भरना है सर. मैं थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ, उसके बाद देन आई विल रिटर्न टू द मेन. आपने ये DNBS सोर्सेज ऑफ फंड्स भरा सर आप लोगों ने यहाँ पे. फिर DNBS पार्ट 2 एप्लीकेशन ऑफ फंड्स भरा. ठीक है सर. पार्ट 3 में प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस भर दिया सर. ये पहले जैसे है, नियर अबाउट सेम चीज ही है सर. जी सर. NOF कैलकुलेशन, नाउ जब आप एनुअल कैलकुलेशन करने जाइएगा सर, यहाँ सब यहाँ अलग से भरिएगा। ये देखिए ओन फंड फ्रॉम पार्ट 1, ये ऑटोमेटिकली यहाँ से खींचता है सर। ये आपका ओन फंड फ्रॉम पार्ट 1, पार्ट 1 से ओन फंड का जो था सर, यहाँ से वो कैलकुलेट करता है एंड इट टेक्स डायरेक्टली ओवर हियर ऑटोमेटिकली। सो कहीं पे भी अगर आपका एरर है, सी ईच टैब स्पीक्स विद द अदर टैब एंड वो अपना एक कैलकुलेशन करते हैं, वैलिडेशन चेक करते हैं। सो द मोमेंट यू फिल कहीं पे इनकरेक्ट हो गया सर, गलती हो गई, incorrect हो गया सर, so then they will be you'll get a prompt over here, over in this pane, ये जो विंडो है ना सर छोटा सा, you'll get a error file, okay sir। so आपने सब भर लिया मान लीजिए, जो भी ऑल डिटेल्स ऑफ सेंसिटिव सेक्टर, दिस ऑल्सो एक्चुअली आप देखिएगा सब जगह से it draws data from other sheets also, see everything is actually interlinked, all the sheets are nearly interlinked, okay sir। तो जब आप इसको आप भरते हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ देम अगर जीरो है तो ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा है सर। और जब आप भरते हैं सर, आप जब पहली बार आप लोग भरेंगे, द फर्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू फिल इट अप, यू विल गेट लोड्स एंड लोड्स ऑफ एरर्स बेसिकली। तो एरर में क्या होता है सर कि यू विल गेट एन एरर फाइल जनरेटेड ओवर हियर, ओके सर। सर आर एवरीवन फॉलोइंग एक्चुअली, मतलब
यस सर, यस सर,
हाँ
सर।
मान एक्चुअली इतना डिटेल में जाने से मेनी विल गेट कंफ्यूज, दैट्स व्हाई
नहीं नहीं नहीं,
बेसिकली हाँ। तो
फ्लेवर मिल जाना चाहिए सर,
जी
फ्लेवर।
सर जी।
हाँ सर, एक बार शेयर होल्डिंग और डायरेक्टर का थोड़ा दिखा दीजिए, बिकॉज इट इज अ न्यू। व्हाट इज देयर इन शेयर होल्डिंग एंड व्हाट इज देयर इन डायरेक्टर्स टू फिल?
नेम, टाइप ऑफ कैपिटल, पैन, नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स, फेस वैल्यू, परसेंटेज। गिव डिटेल्स ऑफ शेयर होल्डर्स, 1% से ज्यादा लोग का जिनका शेयर होल्डिंग है सर, ठीक है सर। और ये हो गया बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स का सीरियल नंबर, नेम, डेट ऑफ अपॉइंटमेंट एज डायरेक्टर, दिन नंबर, पैन और कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर, ईमेल आईडी। ये सब 4-5 फील्ड्स हैं सर। इसमें आपको फिर ऐड करना होगा, कंट्रोल प्लस कीजिएगा तो देन यू कैन इंक्रीज द नंबर ऑफ रोज, ऐसा करके यू हैव टू फिल इट अप सर।
राइट
सर देन आफ्टरवर्ड्स मान लीजिए आपने सब सेम एज टॉप 25 सब्सक्राइबर और डिवेंचर्स। सर ये सब भी है, जैसे आपने टॉप सब, अच्छा ये तो मैच नहीं करेगा मतलब लाइक एनीवे। सो टॉप 25 सब्सक्राइबर और डिवेंचर्स, आईसीटीज का आपने भर दिया, सब कुछ भर दिया आपने मान लीजिए, एंड देन यू विल हैव टू गो टू द लास्ट शीट नेविगेटर में। ये एक्चुअली लाइव नहीं है इसलिए इसमें आ नहीं रहा है। यू विल गेट अ, यहाँ पे इन दिस विंडो पेन यू विल गेट एन ऑप्शन जनरेट इंस्टेंस फाइल। सर आपने सब भर दिया, मान लीजिए डीएनबीएस 1 2 3 4 पार्ट 3 4 6 जितना भी भरना था एप्लीकेबल आपने भर दिया, जनरेट इंस्टेंस फाइल। सो जस्ट लाइक द इन द अर्स्टवाइल इनकम टैक्स फाइलिंग, हम भी इंस्टेंस फाइल टाइप का एक एक्सएमएल फाइल जनरेट करते थे, इस केस में भी एक एक्सएमएल फाइल जनरेट होगा सर।
राइट
जी, बट बिफोर दैट there will be a validation check in which you will get many issues basically। many आपको बहुत एरर मिलेगा यहाँ पे, या एरर नंबर ये 120 एरर्स, 150, 300 एरर्स ऐसा करके। सो यू नीड टू रिजॉल्व इट बेसिकली। रिजॉल्व करने का आप 300 एरर इतने बड़े टैब्स में कैसे ढूंढिएगा? सो जहाँ पे एरर आ रहा है ये पॉपअप में, यू नीड टू क्लिक दैट सेल ओनली। जिस सेल में एरर है, you just need to double click. Actually it is not here, so I'm not able to show you. You double click that cell directly. The package will take you to a particular cell जहाँ जिसमें प्रॉब्लम है, and then you read what is the narration of that cell, narration of that error.
राइट
हाँ, आपको एरर में आपको बताएगा किस सेल में आपके एरर है। हाँ, और वो एरर का नरेशन क्या है बेसिकली वो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम इट इज मतलब सेल का नंबर देगा सेल नंबर दिस should value should match with cell number this ऐसा करके there is a validation check so you resolve it आपको resolve करना होगा then when you resolve all the this thing uh, errors and then you submit then you will get an XML file generated
Okay.
that is the final file actually मैं 100 200 error ये बोल रहा हूँ ऐसा मत मानिए कि हर बार होता है सर it is only जब आप फर्स्ट टाइम कीजिएगा तो आपके पास बहुत एरर आएगा फर्स्ट टाइम तो ऑब्वियसली रहेगा ही सर
Right.
सो
Right.
यू जनरेट आपके पास एक यू विल गेट अ XML फाइल okay sir XML file will be generated which is an encrypted version and which you need to upload in the XBRL portal itself sir ठीक है sir
Hmm.
sir I'm minimizing that DNBS2 sir
Yeah. Yeah. Sure, sir.
नाउ कमिंग टू द पैकेज यहाँ पे भी वही चीज बताया सर क्योंकि यहाँ पे DNBS 1 था तो मैं सोचा DNBS 2 दिखा दूं तो
Right.
DNBS 1 में भी ये था एरर काउंट 9 वार्निंग काउंट 0 सो आपको एरर है रूल क्या है हाँ रूल डिस्क्रिप्शन दैट इज योर नरेशन और इधर आप जाइएगा तो एक इधर ये स्क्रीनशॉट में पकड़ाया नहीं है but the more right you go there will be a cell value you double click that cell it will go to that particular cell in whichever DNBS part 2 3 जो भी है जिस भी है वहां वे एग्जैक्ट सेल में लेके जाएगा ठीक है सर हाँ और you can also export that error file ये एरर फाइल बोलते हैं इन एक्सेल एंड यू कैन एक्चुअली एक एक करके भी आप दे सकते हैं सर ठीक है सर
Right. Right.
देन जैसे वो XML फाइल जनरेट हुआ सर the moment that now the maker has made that XML file that is it is not called XML file it is called instance file sorry instance file has been generated now that maker now checker has to log in with his login credentials ठीक है sir and then afterwards he has to go to upload returns okay sir upload returns पे जाना है उनको XBRL पैकेज में हेलो
Yes. Sir. You are audible, sir. Please.
Yes, sir. Then you will have to select the return which is annual that important financial parameters important financial parameter annually उसमें जाके then thereafter you will have to submit इसके बाद ना actually यहाँ पे स्क्रीनशॉट में आ नहीं रहा है NBFC का नाम आप लोग का नाम ड्रॉप डाउन मेनू में पहले से रहेगा you will have to select your NBFC's name and date of reporting which is 31st March actually आप लोग का एनुअल है इसीलिए then you will have to select the encrypted instance document no file chosen अभी तो वही दिखा रहा है then afterwards select return and reporting date और जो report status है सर वो that will be provisional okay provisional या final depending on the status of your balance sheet sir ठीक है क्योंकि 31st मार्च का एक्चुअली इसमें बता देता हूँ सर कि जो नॉन NDFCs है सर उनके तो बहुत सारे रिटर्न्स होते हैं सर क्वार्टरली मंथली एंड हाफ ईयरली एंड एनुअल भी तो इन देयर केस व्हाट हैपेंस उनके लिए एक्सेप्ट 31st मार्च 2019 एक्सेप्ट 31st मार्च का जो एनुअल क्लोजिंग वाला जो डेट है उसके अलावा other than that all the other quarterly and monthly returns has to be there is only a provision of final return उनमें ये provisional return नहीं दिखाता है तो there is a हाँ but annual क्योंकि आप लोग का तो सिर्फ annual है तो annual you have a provisional also and then final जब आपका balance sheet sign होगा final figures crystallize होंगे then you can update the final version also okay sir
And what about non NDSI जिसको खाली DNBS 02 देना है वो भी प्रोविजनल और फाइनल दे सकता है या वो फाइनल
यस सर आप लोग के लिए दोनों है क्योंकि उनके लिए तो सिर्फ एक ही रिपोर्टिंग डेट है ना सर 31st मार्च 2020 मान लीजिए तो उनके लिए प्रोविजनल दे दीजिए। जब आप लोग का बैलेंस शीट पूरा साइन हो जाएगा, फाइनलाइज हो जाएगा, देन यू गिव द फाइनल दिस थिंग, फाइनल रिटर्न। यू कैन अपलोड द फाइनल रिटर्न सर। ओके सर। अच्छा, फिर द नाउ वी आर एक्चुअली एट द जहाँ पे चेकर का checker is uploading the return basically. So
सर आपने बताया नहीं, अपलोड कौन करेगा? मेकर करेगा अपलोड की कौन करेगा, ये आप बता रहे
सर
थे।
2 लोग कर सकते हैं सर। चेकर भी कर सकता है, मेकर नहीं करेगा सर, मेकर नहीं करेगा, चेकर करेगा, या फिर सुपर यूजर आईडी होल्डर भी कर सकता है सर। तो सुपर यूजर जनरली जैसे एनडीएसआईज में क्या है सर, बहुत सारे मेकर और जो सुपर यूजर आईडी होल्डर, उन्होंने क्या करा हुआ है सर, उन्होंने 3-4 लोग को मेकर चेकर बना के रख दिया है सर। तो ऐसा नहीं कि एक दिन किसी कोई छुट्टी में है तो वो अपलोड नहीं कर सके, वैसा है। ओके सर। देन
और सर आप ये नहीं बताए चेकर कहाँ पे चेक करेगा? जैसे मेकर ने तो अपना डेस्कटॉप पे सेव कर दिया रिटर्न बना के, अब चेकर उसको चेक कैसे करेगा?
सर चेकर एक्चुअली नहीं, चेकर सर क्या करेगा सर, चेकर वो बेसिकली है कि सर वो जो एक्सएमएल फाइल जो जनरेट हो रहा है ना सर, उससे पहले जो इंस्टेंस जनरेट हो रहा है, सॉरी, इंस्टेंस जनरेट होने के समय, जो फिलिंग के समय जो वैलिडेशन डेटा है ना, उसी समय ही चेक कर सकता है। एज सच मैं अभी उस फेज में हूँ जहाँ पे मैं बता रहा हूँ कि द चेकर हैज टू अपलोड इट। Sir, could you get me, sir?
Yeah.
This checker will have to check when the maker is making or when the during the instance file only. मतलब आप actually जब तक वो validate when until and unless that instance file is validated and instance file generate ही नहीं होगा जब तक validation नहीं होगा. Okay, sir?
Okay.
हाँ. The moment instance file is generated, there is actually there is no what do you call no portal or something to view what has been written and all that. So once that encrypted file is generated, the checker only has to upload it, sir. Yes, sir. उस समय भी एक वैलिडेशन होता है सर, ठीक है सर। उस समय चेकर जब अपलोड करेगा या सुपर यूजर आईडी होल्डर जब अपलोड करेगा सर, उस समय भी सिस्टम XBRL सिस्टम द पोर्टल इटसेल्फ विल वैलिडेट अगेन दैट XML फाइल।
नहीं सर, क्वेश्चन है मेकर ने फाइल बना लिया, उसके पास अपना डेस्कटॉप पे है, तो वो वही फाइल चेकर को दे देगा क्या चेक करने?
हाँ सर, वही है सर।
ओके, गॉट इट। यस सर, प्लीज।
सर ये प्रोविजनल वाला हो गया, देन दे विल अपलोड, यू विल हैव टू यहाँ से सेलेक्ट फाइल हो गया सर, जो XML वाला जो फाइल है, यहाँ पे यू विल हैव टू चूज सिमेट्रिक एन्क्रिप्शन एंड देन जस्ट वेट सर, अपलोड, then you'll have to upload. Okay sir, actually I am not able to see that upload ये।
It's okay sir।
Then afterwards फिर आपने देखना भी है कि what is the status of filing। जब आप upload checker has uploaded it, okay sir, when the checker has uploaded it, it shows you'll have to go to publish filings and everything and then see view की किस status में है। यहाँ पे देखिए सर, uploaded return is this one, 31st March 2000, date uploaded, reporting status provisional, is revised no, processing status validation failed। validation failed जैसे आता है ना सर, validation failed जैसे आता है, the checker and the maker will receive a mail from XBRL help desk, ठीक है सर, डायरेक्टली स्टेटिंग द मतलब किस जगह इशू आ रहा है सर, ठीक है सर। इट मे बी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम सर रहता है सर इसमें कि वो जो रिटर्न्स पैकेज है, दैट रिटर्न्स पैकेज इज क्वाइट द ऑफ अ प्रीवियस वर्जन, और basically the moment I've actually shared one other XBRL help document with everyone, sir. तो उसमें there is a system prerequisites, आपके लैपटॉप में कौन से क्या कॉन्फ़िगरेशन सब रहना चाहिए सर, तो वो सब भी रहता है। तो वो सब से भी दैट वैलिडेशन फील्ड एंड दैट रिटर्न इंस्टॉलर का जो इंस्टॉलेशन है वो भी इफेक्ट पड़ सकता है, उसके कारण भी वैलिडेशन फील्ड हो सकता है सर। तो वो बताता है सर। दिस काइंड ऑफ मेल आई हैव नॉट रिसीव्ड एक्चुअली, आई हैव नॉट सीन आल्सो सर। तो इसमें नहीं बोला, बट द वैलिडेशन फील्ड का एक मेल चला जाएगा मेकर एंड चेकर को suggesting modifications or whatever. Okay, sir. Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir. Please continue.
Sir, now the once the return has been uploaded, it doesn't mean कि वो uploaded दिखाएगा सर, पर वो RBI उसको डाउनलोड नहीं कर सकता है सर, क्योंकि उसमें किसी का साइन नहीं है सर। ठीक है सर। बेसिकली एक नया इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है सर, नया सिस्टम, कि पहले जैसे कॉस्मॉस में तो कोई डिजिटल सिग्नेचर का तो कोई प्रोविजन था नहीं सर। नाउ इन XBRL digital signature has to be mandatorily put in that XBRL returns. Okay, sir. So this is the whole system of आपको digital somebody has to sign it basically. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
it
sir.
can be it is most in NDSI category, जितने भी अभी जो लोग लाइव फाइलिंग कर रहे हैं, it is mostly the checker who has a DSC is made a checker basically, वैसा किया हुआ है उन्होंने। So DSC अपलोड भी करते जो चेकर है उनके पास पहले से DSC भी है, वो फिर अपलोड भी करते हैं, they upload it and they digitally sign it. The moment that it is digitally signed, वो रिटर्न हमारे पास रिजर्व बैंक के पास आ जाता है सर। We are able to view it because it has somebody's sign. Okay, sir. This whole file, I won't go through it, sir, in depth because
Fine, sir.
थोड़ा टेक्निकल है, क्योंकि how to generate a digital signature. But sir, ये most of the NDSIs who are already filing are facing issues with this only. इसमें
Okay.
the only major takeaway is that once a person signs a DSC, signs with with his digital signature for a particular company. Okay, sir.
Right.
That DSC gets mapped with that particular company in XBRL. अगर
Right.
मान लीजिए I'm uploading DNBS 2, I'm uploading a DNBS 2, I'm signing it for a company A. I cannot upload and sign DNBS 2 for another company in XBRL. वो XBRL उसको allow ही नहीं करेगा।
So then how the problem will be addressed? That you are telling that day also, but
Yes,
in
sir.
many cases there are same set of directors in multiple NBFCs.
Yeah, sir. I had raised this issue also, but that is how the system has been designed, sir. So as of now, to like even in non-NDSIs, sir, different companies, एक ही company में तो around 5-6 companies होती हैं, sir, एक ही group में. So on all our NDSIs, so all are having different digital signatures.
Right.
Different somebody else is some different person is signing for them.
Right.
Basically that is how they are doing it. And similarly for the statutory auditor certificate also, sir, the statutory auditors will be getting also be getting their login credentials. The पहले के समय में Cosmos में you need that hard copy and then scanning and then uploading was there. Now in this case, SAC is actually जैसा आपका returns package है सर, returns package में जाके आपको जहाँ पे आपने DNBS 2 आपने select करा था, वहाँ पे आपने DNBS 10, you have to select DNBS 10, and then the SAC format will come, which has to be filled up by the statutory auditor, generate an XML file, then upload it, and then digitally sign it, sir. So in that case also, once that DNBS 10 DSC will also get mapped to that XBRL package, sir. That is how the system has been designed, sir.
But then you want to say कि वो auditor दूसरा company का SEC नहीं sign कर सकता है? Is it that?
सर मतलब उस फॉर्म का तो अगर या सर सॉर्ट ऑफ
तो सर एक ऑडिटर 10 NBFC करता है, then
जी
how
जी
will it be
सर
addressed?
सर इसको आप यू कैन एक्चुअली थ्रू एसी जो यू हैव you can always actually raise this query to me. I can always forward it, sir.
Sure, sir.
That
Sure.
this is
Sure.
this has to be, yeah, this is a operational issue, sir. Because many and I also talk to my other regional offices जहाँ पे ऐसा problems तो हुआ ही है sir. So
Okay.
how they are actually how they are going about it. There will be a way out, I think so. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. So this. Bye. So this is all these slides pertain to that digital signature thing. I'm just skipping it because it's very technical.
Yeah.
So सर जब डिजिटल सिग्नेचर होके भी सबमिट हो जाता है सर and final it that return submission status will be complete changed to completed and return would move to XBRL. जब आपका completed status दिखाता है सर सर just wait sorry completed status दिखाता है सर then only Reserve Bank is able to access that and download the return at our end. Okay sir. वो actually क्या है कि this one the completed जब चेकर उसको चेक करेगा सर चेकर उसको चेक करके अपलोड करेगा इट विल शो अपलोडेड और वेटिंग फॉर डिजिटल सिग्नेचर ओके सर द मोमेंट इट इज डिजिटली साइंड it will show completed over here. That means everything, the whole process has been completed.
Okay.
Yes. Sir, the whatever I said regarding the DSC, XBRL user ID attaches a particular e-token that has been used for signing the return for the first time. From the next time onwards, XBRL system identifies the XBRL user ID with a particular e-token. That is, मतलब वो फिर mapping हो जाएगा sir. Okay sir. This is the. Then you can view through view whatever you have uploaded through published filing, sir.
Right.
Then अगर आपने पुराने जितने भी आप लोगों ने DNBS 2 या फिर जो पुराने जितने भी रिटर्न्स आप लोगों ने अपलोड किया हुआ है it will show in DNBS that publish filing tab. वहां से you can see and download over to your PC. Okay sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, see, these are some of the notable points, main points, which has to be, मतलब, just to summarize everything, sir. इंस्टॉलर आपको पहले डाउनलोड करना है एक ही बार डाउनलोड करना है सर बार बार आप लोग को डाउनलोड नहीं करना है और वो जो रिटर्न्स इंस्टॉलर पैकेज है इसमें आरबीआई इंस्टॉलर फाइल में आपके सब रिटर्न्स के फॉर्मेट्स रहते हैं इंक्लूडिंग सैक ओके सर which has to be that return installer has to be saved in that C drive and one of the shortcuts will appear in the desktop itself. These are points are already covered, sir. I think so. I'll wrap up, sir, with this. Sir, please note down, sir. We are actually on the process of sending mails and for collecting XBRL username login credentials data from NBFCs. Sir, any query, anything can be sent to Cosmos DNBS Kolkata @RBI and rbi.org.in. Once the whole XBRL system has been or if because we are in the plan of actually parallel filing of in both Cosmos and XBRL, क्योंकि दोनों एक साथ चलना ही पड़ेगा किसी थोड़े दिन तक. So since then, once when some of the companies have actually onboarded into the XBRL system, then if there is any technical issue, the companies can actually directly take up with our RBI support, XBRL support team. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You clarify one thing. This is applicable for FY 1920 or next year. For 1920, we have to follow both NBS
Sir, wait.
89 as well as XBRL or what?
Sir, actually, I just wanted to open my video where I just forgot where to.
Please.
Sir, just hold on, sir.
Before we take up the Abhijit sir will also join. Just one thing, because many members have this question.
हाँ sir. Sir, just hold on, sir. Actually, anyway, I'll just go. Sir, आप लोग तो देख सक रहे हैं ना, sir?
Yes. We
Yes,
are
sir.
able to.
Actually, sir, nothing has been just crystallized right now. Dates. Right now, Cosmos will go on, sir. Cosmos तो रहेगा ही, sir.
Okay.
We are in the presence of actually to give a overview, sir. दूसरे जितने भी ROs है all India में, the number of companies are not that much. So like in Delhi, आपके पास 1000-1200 कंपनियां हैं, and आपके मुंबई में ज्यादा है, और बाकी सब जो सेंटर्स में कम है, तो वहाँ पे नॉन NDSIs भी अब स्टार्ट कर दिए हैं फाइलिंग. हाँ, वी हैव एज ऑफ नाउ नॉट कम आउट विद अ रोल आउट डेट कि इस दिन के बाद से आपको नहीं मिलेगा, मतलब कॉस्मोस नहीं मिलेगा. अभी कॉस्मोस इज लाइव, बट फॉर एन इंफॉर्मेशन सर, नॉन मतलब NDSIs के लिए September quarter, September 2020 quarter was the last date for filing Cosmos returns. मतलब वो दिसंबर क्वार्टर में उनको कॉस्मोस नहीं भरना है, वो सिर्फ डायरेक्टली XBRL ही भर रहे हैं. वो जो पैरेलल फाइलिंग का सिस्टम था, that has been dispensed with for NDSIs all India including Kolkata. Okay, sir. So it will not be incorrect to think कि we are planning to actually roll out and everything by March 2021 and everything. So at least parallel filing तो चलेगा, sir.
Okay.
So
Okay.
nothing has been circular में कुछ आया नहीं है, sir. पर basically our initial target when before pre-COVID time was कि at least अप्रैल तक हम लोग कुछ नॉन NDSIs को भी ऑन बोर्ड करते हैं, बट दैट लॉस ऑफ दीज अराउंड 4 to 5 months has actually मतलब derailed, not derailed to be has actually delayed everything. So that's why अभी तक वैसा कुछ concrete date नहीं है, but we should be in readiness and I was very happy to actually get an opportunity कि आप लोग की तरफ से भी अगर मुझे help मिले for conducting a workshop through online mode only for the compliance officers of all the companies आप लोग जो जिनको represent करते हैं, sir. It will go a long way in actually in completing this arduous task. Around 4,000 companies हैं, sir.
Sure, sir.
Non NDSIs. So I'll definitely keep in touch with Butoria sir and Sangbhai sir and EC for all the support, sir.
Sure, sir.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Sir,
Thank you very much.
Sir,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll just request, sir. I would like to leave the meeting, sir, because I'm on site somewhere, sir, not in
Okay.
office. So
Okay.
thank you, sir, and I
Ka-
thank all the participants.
Kachap sir, ACA on
Yes, sir.
behalf of Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives, ACA gives you a hearty vote of thanks on behalf of ACA members and the office bearers. We are really thankful to you and the GM sir. Both of you have taken
GM
out
sir will
time.
join.
Acha,
The
GM sir
GM
will
sir
join.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you have taken out your time from your busy schedule, sir. You know you are. We know you are busy in your offsite audit also. You said that
Yes, sir.
also, but
Yes.
we are still very much thankful to you, sir. You have deliberated in detail about the XBRL and nitty-gritties of the same. On behalf of ACA, we are extending our hearty vote of thanks to you. May I request the participants to put a give a big round of applause to Kachap sir.
Thank you, sir.
We have a e-memento, sir. If you allow us, I'll just share e-memento, sir.
Sir, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, hello.
Yes, sir.
Just a
Sir,
second, sir. It
actually,
will take
I've
1 minute.
lost my own video. Actually, I'm not able to see, view myself. I'll just see.
Okay,
Ah,
okay,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. I've got it now.
वो स्क्रीन शेयरिंग मेरे को मोहित जी मुझे स्क्रीन शेयरिंग अलाउ कीजिए ना प्लीज.
Yeah. Yeah.
ये दिख रहा है क्या सर?
Yeah, visible.
Sir, this is a small token of love on behalf of ACA, sir. This is a e-memento. The physical one will reach your office, sir, on time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And we are indeed grateful to you and the GM, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Good night, sir.
Good night. Anupji, I think Abhijit sir is also there.
Okay.
Abhijit sir?
Yes, Abhijit sir is there. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
बोले हम
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, you will stay with us.
Yeah, I'll stay with you.
Sir, if you can complete the presentation, वो जो रह गया था, then we'll take up the questions.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We can see the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the liquidity measures. What the unfinished portion of my presentation. I
Yes.
don't know how many of you are still logged on.
So majority of them are logged on, sir.
Sir, we have still 103 participants, sir.
Okay, that's great. So this is a this is the last, I think, 2-3 slides I had left. So this is one of them, that what are the measures taken by RBI to take care of the liquidity issues of the NBFC, because NBFC by its own business model, they cannot accept deposit. That there is a problem on the liability side of the NBFC. So they are totally dependent on the banks or market for funding. And as my previous slide, I spoke about that lender of last resort from Reserve Bank. The central bank does not open up the window to the NBFC sector directly, but through the banks. Some liquidity measures RBI has undertaken of late, especially during the COVID period, and prior to that prior to that also, after the ILFS crisis, RBI has taken up measures so that liquidity flow to the NBFC sector can continue. So these are some measures. First is that that was taken in June 2019, when NBFC sector, after the ILFS crisis in 2018, there was a risk aversion towards lending to the NBFC sector from the banks. So RBI encouraged the banks to lend to the NBFC and housing finance company, that sector. RBI said that any incremental credit to the NBFC sector will be reckoned as high quality liquid asset for banks. See, as I spoken about earlier, that liquidity coverage ratio, that is applicable for the bank, and under that liquidity coverage ratio, bank has to maintain high quality liquid asset to take care of 30 days net cash outflow. This liquidity coverage ratio is now also will be applicable for bigger NBFCs having asset size more than 5,000 crore from 31st December 2020 onwards. So HQLA, that is high quality liquid asset, divided by net cash outflow for 30 days should be more than 100%. So that is already in vogue for the commercial banks. So RBI encouraged the banks to lend the NBFC sector with a leeway, stating that any incremental credit to the NBFC sector will be reckoned as high quality liquidity asset for banks for maintenance of liquidity coverage ratio. High quality liquid asset for banks are mainly government security, which is held in SLR portfolios, statutory liquidity reserve portfolio. Then another measures was partial credit enhancements to bonds issued by NBFC and HFCs. There, the banks will give a 20% credit enhancement for any bonds issued by NBFC and HFC, and in total, more than one bank can issue a guarantee of 50%. That is for partial credit enhancement, so that the bonds will be easily that will be subscribed by the market participants. Then exposure by banks to single NBFC, that has increased from 15% to 20% of tier 1 capital of the banks. There is a regulation earlier that bank can maximum extend a loan up to 15% of their tier 1 capital. But for while lending to the NBFC, the single NBFC, that exposure can go up to 20% of tier 1 capital. So that is one more enhancement for the NBFC sector. Then banks, while lending to NBFC, and NBFC in turn is lending towards the priority sector, so that banks can also claim priority sector status on the loans which is given to NBFC for on lending to priority sector. So banks will tend to extend more to those NBFC which have more exposure towards the priority sector. Then for securitization of transactions, the minimum holding period, that has been reduced to 6 months, and minimum retention period, that is while securitizing the assets of the NBFC, that earlier that amount was more. Now it has been reduced to, that minimum retention requirement was reduced to 20% of the total assets. That means if 100 rupee asset is securitized, then up to 20 rupees only the NBFC should have on their balance sheet. Then restructuring of MSME loans and keeping it in the standard category. You are all aware that this under restructuring framework, MSME loans below 25 crore, that outstanding as on March 1, 2020, that will continue to be in the standard category, and those will be those loans can be restructured up to 31st March 2021. Then introduction of TLTRO version 2.0. TLTRO is targeted long-term repo operations, which is amounting to 30,000 crore. That is first RBI will lend to the banks, and banks will in turn will lend to the NBFC sector in bonds, CPE or NCD. Then special liquidity scheme of rupees 30,000 crore, where SBI cap has been designated or promoted as a special liquidity liquidity scheme trust vehicle, where central government will give guarantee to the SLS trust. On that basis, RBI will extend 30,000 crore to SBI cap, and then SBI cap will in turn will invest to the rated papers of NBFC and HFC. And that is for extinguishing the existing liabilities only, not for extending the fresh loans. And then partial credit guarantee scheme was brought out by Government of India in August 2019, amended in 2019. That is extended. The scheme was extended. Under that partial credit guarantee scheme, banks will purchase the highly rated pooled asset of NBFC, and government will give a first loss guarantee of 10%. The scheme was subsequently revised in May 2020, wherein the guarantee amount of our Government of India was enhanced to 20% of the portfolio to be purchased by the banks. And these pooled assets, not only the pooled asset, even the bonds, commercial paper of the even loan assets, unrated papers also can be bought by the banks. There are certain risk aversion by the public sector banks for this partial credit guarantee scheme and TLTRO scheme also. But we have observed that overall some credit has been flown to the some liquidity has been flown to the NBFC sector, not what RBI or Government of India envisaged, because these schemes like partial credit guarantee scheme 2.0, it is of 1 lakh crore, but hardly 30,000 crore has been cornered by NBFC. Similarly, TLTRO 2.0, it was of 50,000 crore scheme, but only around 22,000 crores have been flown to the NBFC sector, because banks were not very much inclined to give loans to the NBFCs which are unrated. But rated NBFCs, good NBFCs, they could easily get the funds. But smaller NBFCs, they found some difficulty. So RBI has tried to improve upon the scheme, like sector-wise, like in MFI sector or NBFCs having asset size between 500 crore to 5,000 crore, this much amount should be extended by the banks. Like that, RBI tried to regulate or try to modulate the scheme. But still, there are some difficulties in, but there are observed certain risk aversion on behalf of the bank in extending the loan, but to some extent, the liquidity issues have been resolved, because now what we are observing in the market is flooded with liquidity. As of now, 6.25 trillion excess liquidity is available in the market. Because I am saying that, because that is the average daily liquidity is getting parked with RBI under reverse repo window. So even a small NBFC or well-rated NBFC, they can get the fund from the market if they have a good rating by the credit rating agencies. So liquidity should not be any problem as of now, because the mutual funds and banks are now flooded with liquidity. So this is the liquidity point of view, my presentation. So now I think if you have any questions,
Yes,
then we
sir.
can we'll try to answer it.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sir, Anuji, let us first take the questions to RBI, to Abhijit, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sir,
yes,
there
Mohanji.
is one question from Mr. Tripathi. Like every year, we have to transfer 20% of profit to special reserve as per RBI guidelines. The question is, how can we utilize this reserve?
See, that is a statutory reserve. 20% of net profit has to be transferred on a every year. That is as on the date of finalization of the balance sheet. That has to be transferred to the statutory reserve, and without the approval of RBI, no amount can be withdrawn from that statutory reserve. So, why you want to withdraw that from that reserve? That I just want to know.
Sir, if the company wants to use the reserve for any of the purposes, is it permissible?
For extending loans?
Not for extending loans, because generally reserve will be used for maybe issuing bonus shares.
Issuing a bonus
or
share,
dividend or declaration of dividend.
I have to see whether this is permissible, because in the current scenario, RBI, if you see the monetary policy today, that there is a restriction on dividend declaration also. Earlier,
Yes.
It was up to September 2020. Now, this monetary policy, governor has stated that this dividend declaration for NBFC and banks also, it has been there is some restriction now. So,
Right, sir.
utilization of statutory reserve for declaration of dividend, that is not. I think it is not a good suggestion. But if it is for investment for investment purpose, or lending purpose, or any profitable purpose, then I think it can be thought of. But for that purpose, you have to approach RBI for withdrawal of statutory reserve. Any withdrawal from the statutory reserves, regulators' permission is required.
Okay. Sir, we have some question. If Mr. Ravinder Khandelwal is there, can he unmute and ask the question? This question is not clear to me. Mr. Ravinder?
Ravinder Khandelwalji is not there. I think he's
not there. Sir, he had two questions. I cannot understand the first one. Another question is, uh, uh, there are some non-NBFCs which have financial assets at times exceeding more than 50%, and they now want to apply to Reserve Bank of India for registration. So he had two questions: whether you have to make an FD as well as to sell all the financial assets before making an application, or with the existing financial assets, without selling that financial assets, he can make application for registration as NBFC.
No, if that company, if it is not an NBFC, but they are meeting the PBC criteria,
Yes.
then they can very well approach RBI
Hmm.
for registration purpose.
Yes.
Only thing we are seeing that they are not they'll not be involved in any agricultural or this direct trading related activity other than security transactions, uh, or directly involved in construction purpose. So as per section 45 IEA, there are certain restrictions are there that which are the companies which cannot be categorized as NBFC, like directly involved in agricultural activities,
So, sir,
or
his question is, before, like, if they have investment in securities, that non-NBFC, whether that non-NBFC can apply to Reserve Bank as it is, or first he has to sell the securities and then go. Because what he says, that if I have to sell my shares, I may have a huge tax liability.
okay. Amit, are you there? Just I'll ask my colleague. Just a minute.
Sir, his name is Amit Ji. If I'll search it out, the name from the participants. If you could tell me the name, then I'll search it out, sir.
His name is Amit Roy.
Amit Roy is there, sir. Mr. Amit Roy is there. I am requesting him to unmute.
I think he is.
Amit sir, you kindly unmute yourself. You have been allowed to unmute. Mohitji?
Yeah.
Amit Roy sir is there. I am already, since I am a co-host, I can also, now he's unmute.
Okay.
Amit sir, you can take.
Amit, can you take the question?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard
Hello.
that question? Have you heard that question?
Hello.
Amit ji, have you heard the question, or should we repeat the question?
Please repeat, sir.
Sir, Amit ji, the question is, there is an existing non-NBFC. Its
Okay.
financial assets have exceeded 50%. So now
Okay.
it wants to convert to an NBFC. Now, there are two questions: whether first he has to sell the financial assets and make the application, because if he has to sell the financial assets, he would have used tax liability. And second, whether he has to make a fixed deposit of 2 crores.
Fixed deposit part, sir, I don't know. But this financial asset part, I think he doesn't have to sell the assets, sir.
Okay, so he can apply with the financial assets more than 50% as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. And Ravinder ji, I think you are present now. You can unmute yourself and take up the next question what you had raised.
Regarding this systemically important company, the requirement is that net asset value should be more than 500 lakhs, 500 crores. So my question is whether it is to be seen as standalone or it is to be seen as consolidated if it has subsidiary companies and together. To be qualified as systemically SI companies, SI NBFC. Sir, am I clear?
Abhijit sir?
Yeah, you are clear. See, for any NBFC having asset size of more than 500 crore, they are automatically categorized as NDSI. Now the question is that if it is by standalone, it is less than 500 crore, but within a group it is more than 500 crore. Then together, if it exceeds 500 crore, then we are not taking it as a NDSI, but for the purpose of uploading the returns in Cosmos, NDSI related returns are applicable, but individually we will not categorize any of the NBFC as NDSI. Amit, am I right? Hello?
Amit ji is again, he's
Yes, sir.
mute.
Sir, just to add, standalone, if it is less than 500 crore, but put together more than 2-3 NBFCs in the group, if it is more than 500 crore, then all the returns and all the circulars applicable to the NBFC, NDSI will be applicable, sir. It will be treated within the group and put together, it will be NDSI, sir.
Okay.
No, but whether they can, for uploading return, they have to follow the NDSI related returns in
Yes, sir.
Cosmos
Yes, sir.
as well as
Only NDSI
XBRL.
related return, sir.
But whether NDSI related circulars will be like whether like prudential regulations of IRAC norms, whether those things will be applicable for this entire group, that is the question.
Hello.
Hello, Amit.
Yes, sir.
Now, my understanding is that they have to upload
Yes, sir.
all the returns pertaining to NDSI.
Yes, sir.
But for prudential regulation purpose, whether these NBFC, which is none of the NBFCs are on a standalone basis having 500 crore asset size.
Yes, sir.
So whether like prudential regulation will be applicable to those NBFCs which is similar to NDSIs?
No, sir.
Yeah, that is the thing. What also as per my understanding, NDSI related prudential regulations will not be applicable to them, like IRAC norms that will be continue to be 180 days for asset classification purpose, but returns will be applicable for NDSI related returns. So am I clear, Bhutoria ji?
Sir, but as per your guidelines, the concept of multiple NBFCs, they say that the applicable NBFCs which are a part of a corporate group or floated by common promoters having exceeding 500 crores, the regulation applicable to SI will be applicable if the total asset size of all the companies in the group exceeds 500 crores.
Okay.
So therefore,
all the prudential regulations will be similar to what
NDSI.
is meant for the NDSI.
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay.
Yes.
I stand corrected for that. Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Muji, that was the last question of Ravinder Khandelwal ji.
So if you can now offer a vote of thanks for sir.
On behalf of Association of Chartered Accountants Study Circle, we offer a very hearty vote of thanks to General Manager Sri Avijit Mujumdar sir for getting the time out from his busy schedule and giving us a very, very detailed deliberations on overview of NBFCs, ACA, its members and delegates present here. Give a very hearty vote of thanks to you, sir, for taking out your valuable time. And may I request all the members who has joined here to give you a wide round of applause. Thank you very much, sir, for joining and deliberating this session. And we hope In future also, sir, we'll come to you. We'll definitely take your guidance. ACA platform, we really thanks to you for joining this platform, and ACA will also request you to join this platform in future also, sir. And a small token of love, we will be offering a e-memento to you, sir. 1 second. So this is a small token of love, a e-memento to you, sir. A physical memento will reach your office, sir, on next week, early next week, sir. So thank you very much, sir, for joining and enlightening our entire members and also taking up the questions. Over to you, Mohit ji.
Thank you so much. So Anupji, since we have very little time left, should we have a question answer, or because we have hardly 15-20 minutes left?
If you can take a 15-minute session, sir, because you have prepared a lot. So if I request
no problem. No problem.
So if you can take a 15-minute session for our members, and then we'll take a question, that will be fine.
Sure.
So just an overview of NBFC, if you can take a 15 minutes.
Sure. So we'll be dealing with non-systemically NBFCs. So we'll touch only upon the finer points, which are very important in the context of regulation or management of NBFCs as far as compliance is concerned, or preparation of financials by the auditors. We all know there has been a large number of cancellations of NBFCs by the Reserve Bank of India owing to failure to achieve the net owned fund. Many companies have gone for appeal, even though the NOF was less than 200 lakhs, but that has not found favor with the appellate authority. Even the High Court, large number of decisions have come even in the last few months, where the High Court also said that once you have not attained the NOF of 200 lakhs, irrespective whether adequate opportunity was provided to you or not to give your case in person before the Reserve Bank of India, that is an empty formality. So you having not achieved the NOF of 200 lakhs, cancellation of registration has been upheld. But yes, there have been certain cases where we had quite successful before the appellate authority, where the computation of NOF was incorrect. What we find that many companies calculated the net owned fund where the definition of companies under the same group or the subsidiaries was not used correctly, and therefore the NOF was calculated at a much lesser figure than it should have been. So in those cases, we had argued before the appellate authority, and the appellate authority was kind enough to remit the file back to the Reserve Bank of India. And at Reserve Bank of India regional office, we had given our contention, and that had also found favor with this jurisdictional office, and they have been kind enough to restore the registration. So one has to see, even if the matter is before appellate authority, say you may have own fund of 10 crores or 20 crores, but due to excess investment in those subsidiaries and companies in same group, your NOF falls below 2 crores, whether the computation of NOF has been correctly done. Now, when we come to the regulations, these are the set of regulations: the RBI Act, NBFC acceptance of public deposit directions, prudential norm directions for NBFCs as well as systemically as well as non-systemically NBFCs, core investment company directions, NBFC auditor report direction, fraud directions, KYC, PMLA Act, CIC, and IBC. So, NBFC for reserve fund, statutory reserve fund, every company has to transfer at least 20% of its net profit after tax, before any dividend is declared, irrespective whether dividend is declared, to a reserve fund, and this money has to be kept in a separate reserve fund. To the question Mr. Khandelwal Mr. Tripathi had put for utilization of reserve fund, we had at times written to the Reserve Bank of India for declaration of dividend as well as for issuance of bonus shares, but this has never found favor with the Reserve Bank, because they said you should not touch with this reserve fund. We argued that issuance of bonus shares will make a temporary reserve a permanent in the nature of conversion to capital. But what we found that RBI is very skeptical when it comes to giving any approval to utilization of reserve fund. The statute says that reserve fund can be utilized for such purposes as may be prescribed, but as of now, no purpose has been prescribed. When it comes to NBFC acceptance of deposit directions, few things are important, because at times we say, from whom can we accept deposits? Can we accept loan from directors, relatives of directors, shareholders? So there is no problem. You can raise money from directors, you can raise money from relatives of directors, you can raise money from shareholders as well. Unlike private companies under the Companies Act, where we have some restrictions in the matter of shareholders and relatives of directors. One important area also can be of fund acceptance, can be issuance of debentures. You can issue debentures and raise money. Therefore, if I want to raise money from my friends who do not happen to be the shareholders of the company, or who do not happen to be the director or relatives of director, I can raise money from them by way of issuance of non-convertible issuance of debentures as well. So that should not be a problem. Now we'll take up in short the prudential norm directions. Let me take the auditor's report direction. What is very important is, once this auditor report 2016 has come, there is a responsibility cast upon the auditors to report each and every non-compliance of any applicable regulation to the Reserve Bank of India. Therefore, if my client is not meeting the net owned fund, it is not meeting the PBC 50/50 criteria, it has failed to file SAC or NBS 8 or 9 with Reserve Bank of India for past years, it is not a member of the credit information companies, it is not a member of information utility, it is not filing returns with credit information companies or with information utility, it is not complying with the prudential norms, it is not complying with the KYC directions, any and every non-compliance has to be brought to the attention of Reserve Bank of India by way of an exception report. So that is the mandate. We are every year issuing a report to the Reserve Bank of India in terms of these directions. But there is an obligation also cast upon us to report any non-compliance or of any applicable direction to, including whatever I have listed out here, to directly to Reserve Bank of India as an exception report. Now, fraud directions, they are applicable to companies with asset size of 100 crores and above. So basically, if there is any fraud involving an amount of 1 lakh and above, that has to be reported to the Reserve Bank of India. Now, KYC, PMLA, we all know that every company has to register itself as a reporting entity with the FIU, with the Financial Intelligence Unit at the FIU India website. You have to register the principal officer there. For designated director, you have to send a mail as well as a hard copy of the letter of the person to whom you have appointed as designated director to the FIU, and a copy of this is also to be sent to the Reserve Bank of India jurisdictional office. Say in case of companies with registered office at Calcutta, we have to send to RBI Calcutta office. Our intimation relating to appointment of principal officer and designated director. The principal officer and designated director cannot be one and the same person. They have to be two different persons. We have to adopt a KYC policy, a client identification program, and this needs to be preserved till RBI calls us. So once RBI calls for all these policies, we have to file it with Reserve Bank of India. Now, PMLA Act, I am not discussing much because you see they are related with cash transactions and suspicious transactions. If we have a series of cash transactions with a particular party and the aggregate amount of the cash transaction in cash exceeds 10 lakhs, then we are required to report. And if we have any transaction which we identify to be suspicious, or the regulator tells that the transaction which you have entered is a suspicious transaction, then we have to report to Reserve Bank of India. And usual course of transaction when we do business, generally we do not come across, all those the companies audience with whom we are discussing. Normally they do not accept deposits. They do banking transaction with their own money. So generally suspicious transactions are not there. So therefore, if there happens to be any transaction which is suspicious, you are under obligation to report to the PMLA authorities. Now coming to CIC Act and IBC, CIC Act, it imposes an obligation on each of the company. Even the RBI prudential norms also imposes obligation on each of the company to register with all 4 CIC. So we have presently 4 CIC, CIBIL, CRIF, Highmark, Equifax. So we have to register with all 4 CIC and file monthly returns with all those 4 CIC. And at times it helps you a lot because you see if the company or a party to whom you have extended loan, the party or that company does not pay you the interest or principal in time, it becomes an NPA. So in the return, if you marked him as an NPA and then the return is filed, his credit worthiness gets reduced. So at times we have find that when we had done such, we had filed some returns, and when that company goes to bank or any other NBFC for any loan, our this default, prevents the or creates trouble for that entity in obtaining a fresh loan or as well as renewal of loan from bank or any other NBFC. So these are in our interest, although it adds to some recurring cost to the company, but this is quite useful as well. Similarly, under the IBC Code 2016, it is an obligation under Section 215 for each of the NBFC to get it registered itself with the NESL, National E-Governance Services Limited. That is the only utility information utility as of now. The intent is that whenever you grant a loan to any party, all records pertaining to that party are uploaded with NESL. That other party authenticates whatever you have filed. So there is a record created of that loan borrower in the with information utility, and ultimately the intent is that these records will be utilized by the IBC, by the NCLT at the time of hearing into transactions, in case the other party defaults, and we file any matter with the NCLT relating to these default. Plus, it is also advantageous. Just a few months ago, NCLT Delhi, I think it was President NCLT New Delhi, had issued a circular that if there is no record from the information utility, the case, no corporate debtor will, no financial creditor will be able to file application with the NCLT. So that created quite a lot of difficulty, because in respect of transactions, in respect of loans granted prior to this information utility coming to existence, or even subsequent to that, many companies did not register themselves with NESL, and this was causing a lot of problem. So we had gone in a particular case where we were denied by NCLT for our application as record of default from the information utility was not available. Before the Calcutta High Court, a writ was filed, and it found much favor with the Calcutta High Court, where the Calcutta High Court says that this is only one of the modes. If I have alternate documents to prove that the other party has defaulted, and I have the other records of loan documents and all, that is again quite a good evidence. So subsequently, NCLT Delhi, President NCLT Delhi modified that circular and said that it is one of the evidence, record of default. But what I mean to say that subsequently going forward, it may become a mandatory document. So all the NBFCs who are extending loans should get registered with the information utility, NESL. So it does not cost for a registration, and for uploading of records, it costs a very token amount. So that is although a one-time job. Filing of a return is monthly. Is at monthly intervals, but whenever you enter into a transaction with a borrower, you have to upload all the documents relating to that with the NESL. Now coming to this prudential norms directions, we'll just take upon some important questions. Quite at times we have seen that the company does not meet the twin asset income criteria of 50%. That is very important. The company must have financial assets exceeding 50% and income from financial assets exceeding 50% of the total assets and total income. If one of the criteria is also not met, then it may create some problem for you. And in such cases, it is also the obligation of the auditor to report this matter to Reserve Bank of India. And as such, we should also, educate our clients or inform our clients as to that this twin criteria needs to be satisfied. As if this criteria is not satisfied and we go for any regulatory approval with the Reserve Bank relating to, say, change in management, change in control, change in directors, change of name, amalgamation and merger. So this may be, we may basically be denied permission by Reserve Bank of India in case our twin asset income criteria is not met. And as such, if keeps on continuing, generally for this, RBI does not cancel the certificate of registration, but yes, it asks for a roadmap as to how will you achieve the twin asset and income criteria. At times, there are companies which say that I do not have any option. It is an holding company. I have substantial assets in investments in shares. So my asset exceeds 50%, but my income is from non-financial asset. Therefore, I do not earn dividend. I am not earning dividend. So dividend earning is not in my hands. And incidentally, my non-financial income has exceeded 50%. So in such cases, when we went to Reserve Bank of India, that okay, my financial asset and my financial income, one criteria is not met. Asset is more than 50%, maybe 60, 70, 80%, but income is less than 50,
Yes, Anu.
more than 50%. So you cancel the certificate, or I mean, I want to voluntarily surrender the certificate. But this did not find favor with Reserve Bank, in the sense the RBI said,
पीडी है नहीं ना, मैं ही करता हूँ, फिर तुम ज्वाइन करो तो वोट ऑफ थैंक्स तुम देना जरूर से अच्छा से। भूतरिया ही संभाल रखा पूरा अच्छा बैटिंग करके।
अरे
मैं रह रहा हूँ ऑफिस में, जैसे तुम बोले मैं शेयर कर दूंगा पीपीटी।
अनूप जी,
क्या नाम, मोमेंटो।
So this is how it is going. So we said that
पहले वाले को भी दे देना और उसको भी दे देना। अभिजीत जी भी हैं और कच्छप जी भी हैं, दोनों को दे देना।
अनूप जी,
अभिजीत मंडदा जीएम हैं।
अनूप जी, so it did not find favor. So RBI said that you have to bring down your financial assets to less than 50% if you want to go for cancellation of certificate, if you want to surrender even the certificate. Therefore, it is in the interest of the company to ensure that both the assets and income criteria are met. So what is very important, when we do the computation of a net owned fund, we have to see that the computation is done correctly, and more so particularly regarding to the definition of companies in the same group. This is very important, because the definition of companies in the same group, at times we confuse. In the prudential norm direction, there is a definition of companies in the group. But if you see 45 IA of the RBI Act 1934, it talks of the definition of net owned fund, and there it refers that the companies in same group and subsidiaries shall have the same meaning assigned to in the Companies Act. For companies in group, the same group, we do not have any definition under the Companies Act 2013. We have the definition under the Companies Act 1956. Even though the act has been repealed, yes, despite the repeal, we have to follow that definition, and we cannot follow the definition given in the RBI prudential norm direction as far as the definition of companies in same group is concerned. Now, this is very important. Chapter 3B to override all laws. This find, particularly in the context of NPA, where an account becomes an NPA and we do not recognize interest on NPA. So many companies went to the court stating that since the account has become an NPA and we are not recognizing interest on NPA, and even we have reversed the unrealized interest on NPA in view of the prudential norms prescribed by RBI. So this interest should not be taxable. This unrealized interest as well as the interest which we have not recognized should not be taxable. So courts till now, even the Supreme Court till now had given quite a favorable decisions in the favor of the borrower, in the favor of the lender, following this chapter 3B guidelines in section 45Q. But now, after amendment to ICDS on revenue recognition, where it says that interest should be recognized on prime proportion basis, and also further having regard to amendment in 43D, which now says that only in respect of systemically important companies, and that too only a company with asset size more than 500 crores as per last balance sheet, they have been allowed to recognize interest on NPAs on cash basis. But for companies which are not systemically important, on individual basis with asset size less than 500 crores, this provision has not been extended. But as we say, in view of section provisions of section 5 and the real income theory, I think one has still a good case despite amendment to section 145 relating to ICDS and section 43D. Now, cancellation of certificate of registration we have discussed. So this is important. Leverage ratio. Your leverage ratio cannot be more than 7. So my total outside liabilities, and this total outside liability will include sundry creditors, loans, everything. My total outside liability should not be more than 7% of my owned fund. So this is very important. Incomes recognition should be on the basis of prudential norms. If in case of non-systemically important company, I have a period within 100, 180 days, within 6 months, I have to realize the interest. And if there is a default in realization of interest or principal and the default continues for more than 180 days, account becomes an NPA. And once an account becomes an NPA, all unrealized interest have to be reversed and you cannot further account for interest. So let us take a case, very simple case, where you had charged 10 lakhs as interest as on 31st March 19. This was supposed to be realized by September 19. Out of 10 lakhs, we have realized 9.5 lakhs. Only 50,000 remains to be realized. Still, the accounts will become an NPA even for that 50,000, and that 50,000 has to be reversed, and the remaining this interest for the remaining period from say from October to March we cannot recognize, and that will be recognized only on cash basis as and when received, and provisioning norms will apply. Now, accounting standards and guidance note issued by ICI will be followed. So far, they are not inconsistent with the directions. In the context of companies which are following Ind AS, there was a lot of difficulty because RBI did not come out with any prudential norms as far as Ind AS companies are concerned. So one was in a fix as to how do we follow Ind AS guidelines, because now Ind AS does not have the concept of NPA. Ind AS principles for income recognition stands on a different footing. But fortunately, just a few months ago, RBI has also come out with guidelines for companies which are following Ind AS, and there where it has been stated that you have to follow those guidelines for income recognition, asset classification, provisioning for bad and doubtful debts, and in respect wherever there is no guidance in that circular relating to prudential norms, you can follow the Ind AS principles. So we have the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 classification for Ind AS. We have to have a loan policy, we have to have an investment policy, and our loan and investments must follow that policy. One thing is important here is that you see, in case of a stock in trade, often a question is raised that RBI guidelines do not provide for any manner of valuation of stock in trade. If we see AS13 provides for a manner, and where it says that you have to follow the mechanism for valuation of stock in trade on same principles as you are doing for current investment. Therefore, you value stock in trade of shares at cost or market value, whichever is lower, script wise. But then when we come to ICDS on securities, they say that no, we have to value shares cost or market value, whichever is lower, compared category wise. And for that purpose, say listed equity shares are one category. Therefore, there becomes a mismatch. We follow script wise in accounts, but for ICDS, we have to follow category wise. So you are still have the option to even change your accounting policy, and under current investments or for stock in trade in the financial statements, you can adopt a approach where of a category wise valuation of stock and of stock of shares in line with ICDS. So that is also permitted. Many times question is asked by many of the participants that whether we can do, but one thing is very important: when you convert your investments to stock in trade, although that is permitted as per RBI guidelines, it becomes taxable under the Income Tax Act. So when you convert stock in trade to investment, that is not an issue. It is taxable only when the investments are sold. But when you convert investments to stock in trade, that is not a difficulty. It is taxable when the shares are sold. But when you convert stock in trade to investment, it is a taxable event under the Income Tax Act. Now, also for demand and call loans, what is very important that if you are giving any demand or call loan, interest has to be charged on monthly or quarterly. We cannot charge interest annually. The practice of we continuing a loan till perpetuity, that we had given a loan, this loan is repayable on demand, and it goes on for years and years. This is not acceptable, because if you see the first point number 2, it says that in case you are sanctioning a demand loan, the reason for calling a demand loan beyond 1 year from the date of sanction has to be documented. So if the party is a party with not adequate of credit standing, it does not have a financial capacity to repay your loan. So RBI classifies these types of loan accounts as NPA. Therefore, say I have given a loan of say 5 crores to my group company, repayable on demand, carrying interest of 10%, and this group company has only a net worth of say 1 crore, and then subsequently it has been incurring losses. So RBI will here say that this other party does not have the financial capacity to repay the loan, and in the guise or the garb of a demand loan, you are camouflaging your accounts and categorizing such loan as a demand loan, and therefore since the other party, the financial creditor, does not have the capability to repay the loan, and that is why the loan is continuing on loan repayable on demand, it gets classified as what you called a non-performing asset by Reserve Bank of India. So standard, substandard, I think we are all doing for long. So that is, yeah, we have to make a 0.25% provisioning for standard assets. And when we do this 0.25 provisioning, if we have investment in debentures, they are treated as credit. And for the purpose of calculation of 0.25%, that has also been to be included. And for multiple NBFCs, which Ravinderji was asking, the asset size of all the companies taken together will be clubbed to determine whether you fall in the category of 500 crore or more. And once all the companies taken together, the asset size, when I am talking of asset size, I am talking of gross asset size without netting of provision for doubtful debts and without netting of provision for depreciation in value of investments. And when the gross asset size exceeds 500 crores of all the companies in the group taken together, then enhanced regulations of systemically important is applicable. This is very, very dangerous, because once enhanced regulations are applicable, even though the company is doing money with its own fund, there is a quite light of the number of compliances are far and many. Large number of returns are to be filed. Compliances are very, very complex. The free movement of money from one company to another company is also affected. So one must be very careful of this. And for this purpose, the companies in the group will have the definition from the prudential norm directions. So provision for bad and doubtful debts and provision for depreciation in investments, if any such provision is made, or even for contingent provision against standard asset, these cannot be netted off from the value of the assets. They have to be shown separately under short-term provisions or long-term provisions, as the case may be. Now, lending against own shares is permitted. Concentration norms, credit concentration norms do not apply. Therefore, if I have a net own fund of 5 crores, the entire 5 crores I can give loan to a single party. Of course, some corporate governance issue may be raised, but there is no bar under this law not to invest entire 5 crore even with the same company or invest in the same company. So any changes in directors, auditors, shareholders, this has to be brought to the notice of Reserve Bank of India as and when it happens. And we have to formulate a fair practice code and whatever loan transactions we are carrying out. Therefore, when it comes to loan transactions, if you see the series of the chronologically, you have to have a loan application form. You have to give the loan application form to the party. Though that loan application form, along with the credit, along with the identity, address, and so on, those what you call identification documents and corporate authorizations in case of a company or partnership deed, memorandum, articles of association, and the loan proposal, along with the future projections, future cash flow, future projections, that must be submitted by the loan applicant to the company. Company needs to appraise. Appraise means a formal appraisal, credit appraisal of the proposal. Then company will sanction the loan. A copy of all the loan documents and the KYC documents must be given to the borrower as well. The utilization certificate must be received in respect of the loan granted by the company from the borrower, and post disbursement supervision must be carried out. So in case, generally what happens in case of small, medium NBFC, we do not follow any such procedure. We do not even have a loan agreement, leave aside the KYC document. But in case you face inspection, all those points will be raised by Reserve Bank of India. So as auditors also, we should educate our client to follow all those documentational process. So this is very important. I'll end with this acquisition and transfer of controls. If there isn't a change of 30% in the composition of board, prior approval of Reserve Bank is required. Often a question is raised that if I have 2 directors and if I want to appoint one, should I go for a prior permission, even that the third director happens to be from the same family? Yes, there is a requirement. Even when you go from 2 to 3, or in case of if you have 2 directors, one director dies or he resigns and you have to appoint another director, you have to seek prior permission from Reserve Bank of India. But at time, what happens that we face a lot of practical difficulty in continuing the affairs without appointment of a director. So nowadays RBI is quite lenient, and even if you go for a post facto approval for appointment of director, approval is granted. When it comes to change in shareholding, if there is a 26% change in shareholding happening within the same family or within the same group of companies, even then you have to seek prior approval of RBI. And this 26%, often it is cost in year one, I do 15%, in year two, I do another 15%. Whether this also requires, approval of Reserve Bank of India? Yes, it requires approval of Reserve Bank of India. When it goes beyond 26%, whether it is 1 year or whether it is 2 years. So NBFCs cannot be partners in partnership firm, LLPs. Many companies have converted their companies to LLP, where one of the shareholder of the non-NBFC happened to be an NBFC. So that is very incorrect. Even auditors should advise their client that if you are a shareholder of a non-NBFC and that shareholder converts the company to an LLP, you give your express consent to become a partner in the firm in that LLP. Pursuant to that conversion, this is not permitted. So this is all about NBFC. There is one disclosure requirement. This is pursuant to a circular issued by the Reserve Bank of India dated 17th April, where we have to give disclosures relating to special mention accounts or oblique SMA loan accounts where we have extended moratorium, and the amount of loan where asset classification has been extended. If we have given a moratorium, then what is the quantum of the loan? And in respect of such accounts where we have given a moratorium, a 5% provision has to be made in financial year ended 31st March 2020, and the remaining 5% has to be made in the quarter ended June 2020. So with this, I like to end my presentation because I've exceeded my time. Thank you all for a patient hearing.
Mohitji, the question of exceeding time does not arise at all because you actually took the session of an hour. You have been originally being chosen for a session for an hour, and really, I really appreciate, and I believe all of our members and delegates must have been appreciated. A session of an hour, you took it in only in 15, 17 minutes. We really are thankful to you, Mohitji, and you have accepted this invitation and covered the entire important issues in just 15, 20 minutes. I hats off to you, Mohitji. Thank you very much. I asked our Vice President, Mr. Anup Banka, to offer a formal vote of thanks to Mohitji and other guest speakers also. Over to you, Anup Bankaji. Anupji, you are there? Anup, are you there? Anup need to be unmuted or what? I'll just find it out. Anup Banka, unmute. Anup, you are unmuted.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Good evening, respected our most valued invited guest speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of ACAE and entire team, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing this event despite their busy schedule and sharing information and thoughts on the subject. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Mr. Avijit Mojumdar, General Manager RBI, for his excellent deliberation on recent development in NBFC regulations. Sir, we are extended, enlightened and inspired by your word of wisdom. Thank you, sir. Sir, we present our e-memento as token of our love and affection. Please accept our deep sense of gratitude, sir.
Sir, we have already offered memento to sir. However, I am again just sharing for sir. We have already offered this memento to sir.
Okay, thank you. We are grateful to Mr. Kachchap, AGM RBI, for his excellent deliberation on the topic and covering the new scheme of filing annual return of NBFC and registration of auditor and issuance of statutory audit certificate. Thank you, sir. Sir, we present our e-memento as token of our love and affection. Please accept our deep sense of gratitude. I may like to express our sincere thanks to our own Mr. Mohit Bhutoria ji for giving an excellent deliberation and covering entire aspect and regulatory framework of the NBFC. And we present our e-memento as a token of our love and affection to Mr. Bhutoria. Last but not the least, we express our sincere thanks to all participants for attending this seminar. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Anupji. Thank you, Bankaji.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to each one of you. Thanks, Anup.
Thank you.
So we are closing the session to all the participants.